Spreading the message of hope to everyone. We are Hope 103.1 FM Grenada.
It's Christmas time again in the Caribbean, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's Christmas all over the world. It's that special time of year. Love is in the atmosphere. It's Christmas. Turkey baking, children playing, gifts are wrapping, gifts we're giving this Christmas. It's Christmas all over the world. It's Christmas all over the world. Hear me now, what's this? I'm Mr. Pass the sorrel on the left hand side, pass the black egg on the right hand side. We giving thanks and praise to Jesus Christ, our Savior came so that we could have life. Say pass the sorrel on the left hand side, pass the black egg on the right hand side. We giving thanks and praise to Jesus Christ, our Savior came so that we could have life. Christmas all over the world. It's Christmas all over the world. Giving joy to the world all over the world. Have yourself a sweet Trimego, sweet Trimego, sweet Trimego. Share the love and joy that's given to us. Let's celebrate Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, come on, let's lift up Jesus. It's Christmas, come on, it's Christmas. Joy to the world, joy to the world. It's Christmas all over the
Good vibes.
Never could have changed my mind. My father is the most I got, so no matter try waste my time. If I know God, you know me not.
Godly energy. You are listening to Hope 103.1 FM Grenada.
What is nothing for you might be trouble for me. What is nothing for you might be trouble for me. And I don't want to falter, not this Christmas. No, 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 no. So when I see trouble coming, I resist. Some people don't understand me. I resist. But I'm telling you, Jesus will be honored this Christmas. I resist. Yes, I promise you, Jesus will be honored this Christmas. I resist. There was a time I used to drink a lime and party all the time. When the music hit, I had to whine. But now I'm trying to walk a different line and represent this holy gift inside. So some can sip a punch or creamer, but I resist. And some can sip a glass of vodka, but I resist. So when I see trouble coming, I resist. Some people don't understand me. I resist. reminisce on the girls or boys they used to kiss. But don't look back, don't even take that risk, cause Christmas time is never an excuse. So some could visit everybody, but I resist. And some could hug up everybody, but I resist. So when I see trouble coming, I resist. Some people don't understand me. I resist. But I'm telling you, Jesus will be honored this Christmas. I resist. I resist. Yes, I promise you, Jesus will be honored this Christmas. I resist. I resist. What is nothing for you might be trouble for me. What is nothing for you might be trouble for me. What is nothing for you might be trouble for me. What is nothing for you? Only you, Lord, know my heart. You have known me from the start. If anybody find us touch, they could go in the bush. Ha. So when I see trouble coming, I resist. Some people don't understand me. I resist. But I'm telling you, Jesus will be honored this Christmas. I resist. Yes, I promise you, Jesus will be honored this Christmas. I resist. Yeah. La la dee, la 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 la. It's Christmas time again. Yeah, Jesus, you are the reason for the season. Oh yeah. Jesus, you are the reason why we're living. Oh yeah. But some people corrupt the celebration. Tell them this is not a pagan holiday. So I come with a message for the nation. While we're moving in the season, how are you control it? Control yourself. Control it, yes. Control yourself, neighbor. You can't eat everything. You can't drink everything. You can't buy everything. For the Christmas, please. Nothing ain't wrong with feasting, but don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Yes, you're throwing the rum in your black cake. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it in your celebration. Practice moderation. Remember that the reason for the season is not filling up your belly till it ram, Lord. Control it, oh God. Control yourself. Control it, oh Lord. Control yourself, neighbor. You can't eat everything. You can't drink everything. You can't buy everything. For the Christmas, Lord, nothing ain't wrong with shopping, but don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Yes. Just remember January morning, you will be crying, so don't overdo it in your celebration. Practice moderation. Yes. Let me tell you, baby, take it easy. Don't go shopping until your pocket empty. Just control it and control yourself. Control it, oh, control yourself, neighbor. You can't eat everything. You can't drink everything. You can't buy everything. For this Christmas, please control it, oh, control yourself. Control it and control yourself, neighbor. You can't eat everything. You can't buy everything. You can't drink everything. Oh yeah. Jesus, you are the reason for the season. Oh yeah. Jesus, you are the reason, the real reason. Oh yeah. So neighbor, control it. Control yourself. Control it. Oh, control yourself.
control it, control yourself, control it, yeah. Control yourself, neighbor.
In a pregnancy, rode a donkey to Bethlehem, potting FSC. She tired and she weary, looking for him to rest she body. Well, that was.
Darling, you really leaving up them Christmas lights all year?
Listen, I celebrated Jesus all year, you know.
When you don't even know if he was born on Christmas Day.
Let me tell you something.
Woo!
I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah. Listen, listen, listen. Tell me what's the truth? Yeah, trying to get to the root. When is the exact day? Scientists still speculating. Hey, it could have been a January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Hey, I just glad that he came. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Human beings have a way is the unimportant things they don't study. For real, for real. And what we born, the Bible never said the exact time or day that he came. But we thankful. It could have been a Sunday, a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday. It could have been a full moon, a half moon, a low tide, a high tide. I just glad he was born. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I say oh yeah, oh yeah. I say oh yeah, oh yeah. Celebrating oh yeah. Christianity will take away Jesus. Oh yeah. Oh, it could have been dry season, wet season, mango season, plum season, guava season, sorrel season, avocado season, winter, spring, fall, summer. I don't know when he born. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate. I know it, I know it, I know it. I don't know when he born, but I celebrate in Jesus. Oh yeah, Jesus. Oh, you could have been. Lord, my Jesus. Listen, woman, leave my lights, please. Leave my lights up, please. I celebrate it all year. I don't even touch my Christmas tree. Hey, hey, madam, what trouble is this? I know it's just March. Yes, I know I had it there since March. Leave me ham in the freezer, please.
All right.
Leave me ham in the freezer. Son, what you want for your Christmas?
I want a toy car.
I could buy that for you even in June.
Oh yes, a blessed and pleasant good night to one and all.
All passengers to Caracas, boarding now.
Later, Trinidad. Aye, later, Trinidad. I see you next year. I'm flying out. Mi amigo.
Bienvenido, Señor Messenger.
For the Christmas I went down Venezuela on a mission trip, trying to take the gospel to the world. As I reach in the place, they hand me the mic to bring greetings, and this is what I said. Feliz Navidad. Mamacito, petito, pitito, petito, prientes. Feliz Navidad. To be honest, I don't know the Spanish, but somebody teach me to sing. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. Hey.
All passengers to San Juan, not crazy, but in now.
The next Christmas I went Puerto Rico on vacation. Well, yeah, going real hard. I visit a church and they hand me the mic to bring greetings. And this is what I said. Feliz Navidad. Mamacito, paquito, guiquito, guito, popriente. Feliz Navidad. To be honest, I don't know the Spanish, but somebody teach me to sing. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. Hey. Yes, I want to tell about Jesus. No, in Spanish. I want to tell you about Jesucristo. Jesus. No, not the one that does play football. The one who died on the cross. That one. Yeah.
All passengers to Havana, boarding now.
The next Christmas I went across to Cuba with the family. I hear the place real nice. As I step off the plane, they hand me a mic to bring greetings. And this is what I said. Feliz Navidad. When it's mic, they present us from us, I don't know the same thing. Feliz Navidad. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know the Spanish, but somebody teach me to sing. Baila, baila, Jesucristo. 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 Hey, papi. I don't want no Trinidad cuisine in the Spanish country. I eat everything Spanish. Yeah, I'm telling you. I want Spanish rice, Spanish chicken, Spanish peas. Yeah, Spanish lettuce here too. And that thing, yeah. But it's Christmas time though. What do us drink here?
Yeah.
Or they are curry here by chance?
I wonder. A blessed good night to one and all the listeners of Hope 103.1 FM. It's a beautiful Wednesday night again here on Hope 103.1 FM, right here in the beautiful Spice Isle of Grenada. You just heard from the man, Blessed Messenger. You know, he said it's a Spanish Christmas, and he wondered if there is roti or if he had doubles or any kind of curry food out there in wherever he went, you know. Oh boy, blessings. Let me I just move on. Carrie, ready there? Thank you. All right, bless good night, guys, and yes, we good to go. Alrighty. Yeah, this song had me cracking up a bit, you know. I mean, like, baila baila, what is it? Jesus Christos. What I mean in Spanish, by the way. Akim, did you study in Cuba by chance, bro?
No, I didn't.
You did?
Jesus Christ.
Well, we say it is Christmas season, and I know Jesus Christos means Jesus Christ, right? In Spanish, yeah. All right, but we say it is. I can put it in my calendar.
Means to dance.
To dance, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we know it's Christmas season, so it's a good time. Can you try to interpret it? Go on, teacher.
Baila means to dance, I
Yes,
think. Yeah.
Baila.
Yeah,
dance for
baila,
Jesus
dance
Christ.
possibly.
To dance.
Dance for Jesus Christ.
All right, well, there you go. You guys have it, man. I didn't do too well in Spanish. I used to have Spanish and French. I don't know why I used to do that, but it used to happen to me, boy.
Oh boy, French was my subject.
I used to kind of tie it up. It has, I used to write Spanish in my French exam.
Oh my. Wow. That's a lot.
How you gonna do, bro? That's happened to me. All right, guys. So tonight we are here to discuss a pretty interesting topic. Akim, you send it over?
I did.
All right, good. So let me just do my part. Carrie, go ahead.
Good night, everyone. So we're here again another Wednesday. And today would be, a little chit-chatting a bit as we're approaching the Christmas. Well, we're in the holiday season. Christmas, we know, is coming. on Sunday. And so tonight we're just talking a little bit about portions. The nutritionist would tell us
Yes.
a lot about servings and portions, and we have a bit in store for you, so log on.
So do us a favor and share the live, guys. We want as much people to get the information as possible. So we're saying share the live, share it.
Definitely. Share everything. As I say, there's this thing this fellas used to say during the COVID period. Hulk up the live.
Oh my gosh.
I can mind if I get that one, boy.
You think it's coming from
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we obviously always like to put a spin on things, you know. So we want to put a spin on it tonight. Okay, you need to send it for the Hope Chat.
Okay.
Not in the yeah. So we want to put a spin on this thing tonight as we're talking about portions. I sat and I think a bit and I said to myself, well, this was so funny, right? That was so funny to think about how we came with the idea of portions of it. So me and Kerry was talking, and Kerry was like, what? We were talking about something, and she said, yeah, we go do piece, portion of it. So I was like, portions of it? She said, wait a minute. I said, yeah, portions of it. And it was like, oh yeah, portions of it.
Right.
So when we're thinking about portions, we're thinking about food, rightfully. Right? And if you eat in the right portion, I don't think I see a problem. Do you? Do you, Akim?
Not necessarily. I don't at all.
Yeah. They say what? I'll not take too much of
one thing
is bad.
Thing.
A little of everything is not too bad.
Yep.
And that is not biblical, but it's a saying, eh?
Right.
It's a saying.
When it comes to nutrition.
Yeah. When it comes to food.
Yeah.
A little of everything is okay. It's okay.
It's okay because the dose, like they say, is in the dose. The poison is in the dose.
In the dose.
That's a little of everything. A little everything might be different for some things though. So
yeah,
we'll discover that today.
A little bit of. Say it again.
A little bit of everything is okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But
it depends on the thing that we're talking about. A little bit of alcohol in comparison to some drink might not have the same weight on your health. You see?
Yeah.
So it depends.
So it depends.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wonderful. What we're gonna do is just jump right into our discussion today. Before we get into the portions from the nutritious side, obviously we want to focus on the spiritual side, because life is not just about the physical, it's also about the spiritual. And when we're thinking about the spiritual, we're actually thinking about God's word. So, guys, this word came to mind today, gluttony, boy.
Right.
Yeah, gluttony came to mind, this word. And I wondered, what did the Bible have to say about a glutton, So I thought, let me just look into it a little bit. And I found a definition. Kerry, if you have it, you want to read it for us? You have it?
I do.
Yeah, if you're cool with it.
Okay. Guys, forgive me. The voice is not where it should be.
The voice is not where it should be.
Yeah. But that scripture I think you're talking about is coming from Ezekiel, is it?
No. Basically, I wanted to give the definition of gluttony. Alright, so let me just share it. Let me share it. Alright, so gluttony is defined as the overindulgence or lack of self-restraint in food, drink, wealth items, especially as status token. The English word came from the Latin and means to gulp. Gluttony worships food and feed. Alright? Self-love. Yeah? So you feed self-love. Another definition or another excerpt says gluttony is a sin that many Christians find easy to laugh about and accept as harmless. Weird, right?
Yeah.
While such sin as being a fornicator or adulterer, they are quickly attacked.
Yep.
Right? So the sin of gluttony is idolatry. It is a choice to self-love, comfort, and control through food. All right. So I remember me and Kerry was talking and she was giving me another angle of it.
Okay.
Kerry, you care to share?
I was speaking about gluttony, and while we know that gluttony is really attached to food and how much you consume and so on, I was just telling him the season generally, for some reason, it attracts a lot of overdoing it, if I should put it that way.
Right.
So we can look at gluttony as it relates to food. I mean, last week we spoke about cleaning and so on, and we're not saying it's wrong, but just saying that something about the season calls for more than usual, more than normal. So we can look at it in different aspects and seeing how we really overdo the normal amount of things that we normally do.
Nice, and I like to jump in because we talk about spiritual and physical. That's a weird coincidence. I'll tell you after. But you call it gluttony in nutrition and in food and in eating. We say that you're binging. So we have people who are binge eaters and we have people who are binge drinkers who overdo the alcohol, and we know that's a big thing in this season. So we'll be touching on that.
Yeah. So that is so interesting that people don't realize that. I know we were talking about that over a period of time, and I think about it. If you go back to previous conversation we were having in the past, you'd realize we were talking about people overdoing stuff, and then the result that you would get, you're not happy when you get that result because of what you've been doing. Now, gluttony don't just happen. I still can't say, well, yes, there may be temptation for one to become gluttonous.
Okay.
Because you may like a particular food. And just imagine Christmas time, people, they love the ham. They love the lasagna, and they love just name some things, Hakim, that we know people generally eat within the Christmas season.
Shepherd's pie, so we know the big cocoa tea. We having ham. We having people. Like a client said to me today, a gentleman. He said, I love flour. So, so the bread. People tend to be walking around the house and know that. That's just my story. Once upon a time, and when we used to get ham, my sister would send ham every single year, which is why by choice I don't do ham for Christmas. If you offer me, I'm gonna have it. I'm not going to buy ham though. And so I would every second you would see me if I'm home at vacation. If you see me in the street going somewhere, every time if I change go to a different neighbor, I have a piece of foil paper, a piece of tissue with ham in my hand. All right. If it's not that, it's bread or some kind of cake, and I'm walking eating.
Right. And
one of the things that's big about it is we're doing it mindlessly. That's one of the big things I want us to add to it when we're not aware. So what things people like? So we like, again, shepherd's pie. We like macaroni pie. We like pork. We like chicken. Depending on how you do it, we like a whole turkey. We like what else we do? A lot of the pastries and the black cake. We just do big chunks and we going over with it. What else we like?
The
chicken, the rice and peas.
But
the drinks, the malt.
And
sorrel, ginger beer,
yeah,
the sodas,
and it's the big amongst big amongst.
Kerry says she like it.
That's alright.
I hate going that shit when you say I pay a jack and I like it. And she tried to bite it after, you know. But I hear Kerry girl, man, it's sharp. But you know, when we think about like gluttony, we could think about lack of self-control.
Right.
Because not because it's there in abundance means that you have to beat it. Or you have to binge eat it, as Hakim said.
I like that one.
Not because it's there. You know, people just tell themselves, "Oi, nah," and I eat till my belly full, and that's what I said. People normally see that. Boy, this Christmas I eating a food until my belly full. Like some people make their minds up. I don't know why they do it, but they make their minds up that I'm going in. Me and that food is best friend for the holiday season. You know? Then I can stop but think about this portion of scripture here from the Bible here, right in the beginning. Right? When we think about lack of self-control, where food was concerned, who comes to mind? Tell me who comes to mind. Yeah? Who comes to mind, Hakim? Yeah? Who comes to mind from the beginning?
Oh. Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
So this is who comes to mind.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Alright. Carry good day?
Yeah.
Alright. So the Bible says in Genesis 3 verse 6, it says, when the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it too. He ate it too. So the first thing we saw there is that this woman, namely Eve, she didn't have any self-control. Nah, she didn't have self-control. And not just that, she get others involved in her lack thereof. Right? So, can you imagine living in a house with somebody who telling you, it's Christmas, man, free up, man.
Right.
Eat. Just like Eve told Adam, hey, the thing good to eat and it isn't good, look some.
Right.
And, go ahead, Gary?
No, I was just thinking, as you said that, I remember being on the program before when Akim was saying, we have to understand where the root of where this whole, Christmas thing came about, of for parents. Like around that time, they were able to provide these delicacies like the ham, the cake, the so on, because throughout the year, because things have been difficult, they will not be able to have those kind of luxurious eating, if we should put it like that.
And that luxurious eating too is another term.
Another term
for gluttony.
Oh yeah.
Luxurious
Right.
eating. And we're going to talk about that just now. Stick up in there, go ahead.
Right. And so that has been it became part of our culture. Right? And it's not because we have the little amount that they had. It's just that because it's in us. And that is why the season called for us to do more.
It's a learned behavior.
It's a learned behavior.
So we've passed on, if you would call it a tradition. If it's one thing I always teach is that when we look at behaviors and what we learn and what we practice and how it supports our health, one of the questions I ask is, how is whatever I'm doing, how is it serving me? But we have to stop and question what it is and where it came from. And so we're looking at that whole Christmas thing, which is why I often say to clients, they might come and they might say, okay, well, I want to get some weight down, and I'm saying the solution for you is not to cut out bread, or is not to create in our minds restriction, because what has in a way happened is that because of lack or the inability to afford these what we call foods, or we call them luxury food, it was considered luxury because we couldn't afford them.
Right.
And so it in a way created some sort of a restriction. So when you feel like you get it, you make loose. So imagine a child being kept in a house for a long time, and then you take them at one time to the playground or bring them to the beach. It's just natural in it to want to go, because there are some things, or we generally like to seek pleasure. So whenever we feel that we restricted, if you want to call it, the inner person in you tends to go crazy.
Yeah, and when you talk about the luxurious eating, I thought about people who, remember, as luxury talks about extra. It's not the normal.
Right.
And there are some people, they don't see gluttony in that light, where you go to a restaurant and you spend uncontrollably to buy into luxury.
Right.
You understand? Because you want to look a particular way. You want to be identified with, some people, a level of pride comes in there to play. So it's like, it is not just one thing, but some things are hinge on another thing. You understand? So the luxurious eating in terms of the price, the exorbitant amount of money you spend for things that you don't necessarily need to spend all that money for. And there's a thin line. Somebody might say, so what, I can enjoy something? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, some people just do it by spite. Not that they have to do it. They just do it by spite.
A learned habit.
So it's a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior.
Yeah. So you get it? It's a learned behavior. I like how you say it. All right, so let me just move on there again. Here's another scripture, Kerry. Go ahead.
Okay, so Ezekiel 16:49 says, "Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy."
Mm-hmm. So why you get that from that one? Just by the end.
It was about me, myself, and I. That's
Greed.
what. So I'm having everything, and my house is full for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'm not concerned.
And I'm not concerned about anybody
You
else.
hit the nail on the head, because when you think about it now, think about gluttony that in the form of somebody being, they just greedy. Only me, as you say, me, myself, and I. And there are people, like this scripture is saying, that are poor and needy around you. But what are you doing to help them?
To help them.
Are you looking out for them, or are you only looking out for yourself?
And you know, last time around we talked about this house, there was conversation, but my question is, we had a nice little play in church the other day. Well, it was supposed to be a play. If Christ was to come in the 21st century, I think he'd be such ashamed of what we practice and what we do. The reality is, I think house to house was a thing, of a big thing of the past. I tend to question whether it's still a thing. I think some small sects or some small close friends, you might have this house to house, but from what I have heard, because I've never really experienced it myself, but from what I've heard, it used to be where persons were very neighborly and they could go by anybody's house back in those days. I don't think it's the same thing though. I don't think.
So you're saying that the love has gone now.
Yeah.
That people don't they don't even feel comfortable going from a house to house, except it's their close friends. For example, if I show by Kerry, she can go watch some fish because she's happy drink like a Shandy Carib, a Christian beer.
Yo. Okay. All right.
That's the strongest thing I have here. You know what I mean? But the point I'm making is this, and I agree with you. That you have to question whether or not it still can happen. And the reason why it happened then is because people weren't so all, into themselves. You could have basically walked from your home and everybody could have done it. Neighbor, what you had it for Christmas?
Yep.
So the tradition again has it been there because the love was there, but now the question of if love is there so much is another question you have to ask yourself.
Question.
So how comfortable people feel too.
And another thing too is like, it's not just about like around Christmas time.
Anytime.
But before, they could have like gone by each other at any point in time and so on. So if we don't have that throughout the year, then Christmas ain't happening.
At all.
Yeah.
No, it can't happen at all.
And what's ideal and fascinating about Christmas too?
That it has to happen.
I'm buying extra pork, I'm
Extra.
buying extra beef.
That's the luxurious thing I'm talking about.
Chicken,
extra everything.
And the question is, when we buy this extra this and extra the other, where is it actually going?
Yeah.
So what am I cooking it for? So if I'm cooking extra today,
and we ain't sharing nobody.
And we ain't sharing.
Yeah.
We see gluttony going.
We're eating extra.
Yes, we're eating extra.
We're eating the extra.
And
on me, myself, and I.
We're not paying attention.
Yeah. So that is real. I mean, way down, I saw a box outside by the road. It looked like a 40-inch TV, and I said, okay.
Wow.
I was like, it could be a 50-inch too, probably. I saw the box by the side of the road, and I was like, okay, and we went to the studio. And that reminded me of a program last week that Christmas come and everybody show the whole, and everybody knew.
And I've been passing and seeing, those trucks passing with the fridge and the stove and the stuff in my houses, and I'm like, wow.
Taking all the, tells you a lot, right? So that here is for us to pay attention to, because the people there that tribe that we're talking about in Ezekiel, she and her daughters, she know this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant and they were overfed. Think about that. They had a lot. Another conversion or Bible, they said that they had a lot of bread. So they had a lot, but yet still they were unconcerned.
Right.
We should not be unconcerned.
At all.
This is the season for us to be
very much concerned.
Yeah, and then we need to help people as much as we can. So My thing is, if God shows you a need, don't, because reality is most of us don't go looking for people to help, and as a challenge, we should challenge ourselves and say, this Christmas, my neighbor don't need to ask me for anything. If I'm baking, how about I bake an extra cake?
Yep.
And say, hey, this is what I bake. Here's a slice. I don't want you to put on too much weight, so I'll cut it and share it amongst many persons.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, here's that slice. If I give you a whole cake, you might just, so how about now I do a little, I help you with the controlling of how you consume. I don't aid, because what if cake is your weakness?
Right.
And you see cake now and then it's like, oh boy, I just can't. I love that cake, that particular one that you just baked, cherry cake. And in one night you want to put on everything.
And I really like to go back to the roots.
Mm-hmm.
Like as you're saying that, I'm thinking about, back then when, our parents would say when things are in season, mango in season,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna get all the mango and they're gonna sit down and suck a bag of mango.
That is a problem.
Like, so we have this culture again with whatever we like, we glory in consuming large amounts of it.
Yeah.
It's a primitive behavior. The anthropologists would say it's a primitive behavior. It's the hunter gatherer kind of a thing. Right. And so if we understood that in those times that persons, there was a lack, and when there was a lack, we would hunt, we would plant, we would gather, and we would have. Because if you're preparing for the winter months and those times like the Eskimos and them, you want to make sure that when them time come, you can function and you and here go drop down. And that's one, they would say it's one of our evolutionary traits, which is how we gain weight sometimes. They call it the obesity gene sometimes, which is what has led sometimes to persons naturally storing that fat for times then we won't have.
So you hear it same regularly. Hear people say it for real. You're storing up for hard times.
For hard times.
Yeah.
However, we ain't going through hard times.
Nah.
That the truth is we can't take ourselves and just.
So that leads you to just believe here going on people. Some people just gluttonous. They don't have an issue that is causing them. The issue that they have is that they're consuming too much, and the thing about it is that the foods on during Christmas season is they taste extra nice.
So it's
you understand? So
spices.
Let's go. The sugar. The fat.
Listen.
These things taste.
And the starch.
Yes, they taste awesome. And you know for sure they do. They taste. They will literally tell you, eat more of me.
Right.
Your tongue will be talking to your head, so to speak. And they will say to you, some more, take some more. Take some more. Right? So that's where controlling, being able to control it comes into play.
Right.
So that you do not listen and yield to the temptation. Eve saw the apple and she saw it was good for food. The apple said to her, I'm good for food. She in her own self saw that and said to herself, boy, this thing look good for food. I think I want to have it.
Right.
She didn't have the self-control to say, I resist it. Right? She didn't see that at all. So she fell. And you see what happened? Ultimately, she sinned against God.
Right.
Now, when we started, we talk about some people not seeing gluttony in the light of fornication and adultery. They would tend to say, oh, he's an old thief. The kind of the two things in that, and people will say things. Yeah, he's a nasty man. He hunting his wife and she hunting his husband, and they make it seem so bad as they look at others and cast stones.
Right.
But ask them how they just deal with the same food that is before them, and you realize they have no control.
Yep.
They have no control.
And you see, it ought to humble us. It ought to really humble us and show that we ought not to point fingers, because we can't look in the mirror and see a perfect slate. And again, it's the reason for this season, which is why Christ had to come to show us that in this season. So if anything else, that should be the reason for the season, in addition to remembering Christ, is remember why he came, and it's the humbling experience that he has which one is without sin cast the first stone.
You understand?
They weren't able to pelt anything. And so we don't want to overly put ourselves in a superior position to others and put down people because of a particular thing. So the aim is, listen, in every one of our lives, in everything that we do, there is some area that we're going to be weak in. And we need each other to help each other, to hold each other's hand, and to grow together.
That's right.
Which is why it should be about love and togetherness. That should be the bottom line, and not studying myself, because at the end of the day, like if you point some fingers, there is about 3 pointing back at you.
And you don't know, and the worst part is sometimes you don't even know that there are 3 pointing back at you.
That's it.
You know, so that's why Christ had to say that. You said, he without sin cast the first stone. And when you think about it too, Akim, in terms of people who I feel like I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, I think I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
Yeah, but I lost my train of thought, so I'm gonna leave that alone. That can't come back. All right, but nonetheless, yeah, for real. So we'll move on as we talk about gluttony as greed. Talk about it as it being greed, and also it connects to idolatry. So the one word, if you realize it has so many different things. It connects to the one word connects to like it being like idolatry, because you know when I think me Carrie talked about that before, or maybe my wife discussed that.
Right.
This portion here. Okay, go ahead.
Philippians 3:19. Their destiny is destruction. Their God is their stomach, and their glory is in their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things.
Yeah. So think about it. Your God being your stomach.
And that's deep.
How your God could be your stomach?
Yeah, because you worship it.
You're worshiping your stomach. And
That's deep.
One may ask, and how
can you
worship your stomach? How can one worship your stomach?
It depends on the amount of pride and the place that you put it in. That's all.
The love.
And the love that you give it.
Yes, because nobody supposed to get that love. And imagine people saying, "Boy, I just can't help it. I love that particular food." That means, therefore, you have a weakness that is so weak that when you see it, it affects you.
Right.
You understand? And it's like you must get that thing. I don't even know why the writer would have put it like that, but it's like you have to have it. So it's almost like you're going in so deep that you're worshiping your stomach.
And it can also come to a place where you're going to do anything to have that particular thing to satisfy. Yeah. And I think that's why it comes in as idolatry. Anything that takes your focus, it takes the place of God. Mm-hmm. It takes your focus, and you are driven now by it. It is what controls you. Mm-hmm. So it had now become your God.
Yeah.
And in our local terms, you may say, well, how food could become somebody God?
It's a good question. How?
And again, it comes back to anything, and it's an idol. I mean, anything that takes the place that you give that high level of credence to, that high level of priority to,
yes.
Is idolatry in essence. So if you have no self-control because you know what, you just have to have it, or something's affecting your ability to have it, then that we get to that place. There might be a root cause that we can adjust in our mindset so that we can work on, and we can change to see some positive benefits from it. Mm-hmm. And that's where you would work with someone, because these things take time, especially if it's happening under the level of your awareness. You want to now become aware of it and then find, what can I do to change it? Outside of that, it's going to have free course, and essentially you will be like you will be now become the puppet, and it will become the master with the strings.
Wow.
So controlling.
And it ain't supposed to be that way.
And it's not supposed to be that way at all.
So if the thing is controlling you, then that means that you are the puppet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That deep. Never thought about it that way before, Akib.
Yep, you are.
Normally we control the puppet.
Mm-hmm.
we tell the puppet when to move, how to move, and if we don't do that, they don't move. But just imagine the food is telling you what to do.
Yep.
Or
When to
whatever it
consume
is.
it, yeah.
And it don't have to be food alone. It could be anything else. Like you see a television, the television is telling you what to do.
Yep.
You can't move from it constantly.
You have
Or
a problem.
that's why our cell phones can become our idols also.
Yeah. Very true, Kerry.
Yeah.
Because I wake in the morning and the first thing I have to go and check
It's my
Facebook.
cell phone.
Or I have to check this and this because we create an illusion of importance, I would say sometimes. You know?
I wake in the night and the first thing I dip for
Cell
is my
phone.
cell phone.
Yeah. You do that, Kerry? Yeah?
Huh? Sometimes. Sometimes.
I gotta be honest sometimes. Too.
Yeah.
When I do it sometimes, I stoop sometimes, especially in the morning. If I
Yeah.
didn't pull it to use it for my Bible,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
stoop and I
I
just
get upset
put it down.
when I put it up. I was like, Lord,
Yeah.
for real. Because the first thing you should dip for
Shouldn't be
is the
that.
Bible.
But my Bible is on my phone and I like to use it because it helps me with my study and how fast I can get information
Right.
over. So I if I'm doing something, I use it. I don't let it take me over and I don't say I think I've grown to that place where I don't like say, okay, I'm here doing this now and I get a message. In fact, there's that particular phone don't have no WhatsApp or nothing on it.
Right.
So the one that has WhatsApp, I'll leave it separate and I control it that way.
That's
I
an
don't let it control
interesting
me.
strategy.
Yeah, don't let it control me.
Yes,
Alright?
interesting
I don't get up first thing in the morning and go to Facebook now.
Right.
I might quicker check our WhatsApp message just to see what's on and then just put it back up. Don't really open it if it's too early.
Okay.
That's how this function. Alright, but in the past, maybe I would have just jumped right into it really fast and just, hey, who messaged me while I was asleep?
Yeah. yeah. Now,
Alright,
as
so-
simple as these things are, they become our idol. They become what controls us.
Yeah. So we have to control the thing and we don't allow the thing to become, a means of idolatry. So let's check this one here.
A glutton can miss heaven. 1 Corinthians 6:10. Nor thieves, nor the greedy, nor drunkards, nor slanderers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God.
Yeah. And think about the drunkard part.
Mm-hmm. And again, I love it. And as an nutritionist, you'll hear me talk about this all the time. What is the root cause?
Yes.
And when we look at the root cause of one thing there can be linked to everything. And so if we fix the root cause, we can fix it. So we have to understand the deeper meaning behind this is that what is the root cause that causes you to miss heaven? The drunkenness, the slanderingness, the swindling might be a symptom of that actual thing.
Yeah, but what is the root cause?
But what is that root cause?
Yeah.
Sometimes, or most times, I've realized that the root cause of these things are trauma.
It can be trauma.
Okay.
It can be lack of love.
Lack of love, inferiority complex.
It could be the inability to handle and process things. It can be assumption. Again.
Okay.
And really, if we find the root cause, then we can
deal with it with the matter.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what it is causing you to drink, like, would you dare to say most persons who would pick up the alcohol bottle and head it uncontrollably to the point where they drink till they don't know themselves anymore is because they're trying to numb some problem.
And most of it is. So you asked as most guys, do you like? No, they don't like how it tastes, but they like how it makes them feel. So that nice kind of mellow feeling. Unfortunately, me as a person, I don't know what you do differently. I dislike it. I hate it with a particular passion.
Yeah, boy.
Because I hate to be out of control of myself. I must always be present, and that has been something that we don't go together at all. I don't think. It comes down to the same thing, and you might be going through a particular situation and it helps numb it because it's a temporary moment of escape, but whenever you wind out and you have to face reality again, okay, I prefer this method, and so I'm going to this again to help me as a means of escape, to escape from the real life situation that I'm actually facing.
Yeah.
And so here we can see overdoing and gluttony taking place, and when we take a habit like this, and we know should I say inadvertently, unknowingly create a whole social and structural construct around it, like having a good time, Christmas evening on a Friday afternoon in town,
Yeah.
associating alcohol to liming, vibes in, associating it with socializing. In our, then we now add another layer, our music behind it. We're now taking that whole thing and creating a whole social structure that's supporting a particular behavior change. And then we realize it's hard because now your friends, some of your friends that tell you what you do and what you are, not necessarily, but there's a chance, 80% chance I would say. You're going out and you're finding that it's very difficult for you for you to sometimes say, well, you know what, I am sitting there all I'm drinking, I am not choosing to drink. That requires a whole conscious minded decision. And if you're not at that place, the chances are you're going to get roped in and you're going to be drinking. And when you're drinking and you're talking and you're having a good time, and we're going to come and see this whole unawareness thing coming in later on, is because you're drinking 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 drinks, not realizing that a okay amount of alcohol is 2 drinks for men and 1 for women.
And the same thing here, we can see it with food.
And the same
Because
thing
you're
we can
speaking
see
about
with food.
socializing. Because we're
social-
socializing and we
Cause
have
we-
different food there. And we know we're full, but everybody's eating and we're talking and we're having a good
or we
time.
may even miss it
Very, very
with the
easy.
engagement.
True.
You're doing it and you ain't know.
Yeah.
You drink 6 mod.
Normal.
If who drinking mod, then normally you wouldn't drink 6 mod.
Yeah, at all.
6 malt is like a lot of sugar. Listen, the children would drink 1 malt and they will start going crazy.
Right.
They run like sugar ants, so to speak. Just give them a glass of sugar, a glass of juice. Or let them eat a piece of cake. And they cannot help themselves. So you see how food will cause people to react. And food literally could control a man. Oh yes, food and drinks. It does. So again, when you talk about the puppet, you being the puppet, that's what happening. Now, what would the food do to you? The food will make you put on weight that you probably don't want.
Possibly.
And it will make you get sluggish. And you don't want to be sluggish. You just finish having a lunch, and every day, let's talk about every day now, you're overeating. For lunch, you go out to Sweet Tradition, you buy piece of pie, chicken, everything else, and then you still have a piece of a 2 currant roll and another and a coconut tart and another piece
And
of red
a
velvet
glass
cake
of
for
juice.
later, and you still have a juice, a glass of juice by Sweet Tradition without water in it.
Without water.
Yeah, I ain't knocking Sweet Tradition, but we do know it's Sweet Tradition for a reason. The name says it all.
Right.
Everything is sweet.
I happen to love some of the things.
Alright. Anyway, forgive me for that. Don't sue me. But generally, that's the reality of the situation, man. I mean, I used to eat there and I know
Right.
everything is sweet, man.
Right.
So if I have a little sugar craving, because I think it has happened to us, as we see, a little bit is not bad. So if I feel like I want a little piece of sweet,
Then you have it.
I go there consciously and I said, okay, this is the maximum I will have. Maybe I have 1 current roll, but I know I'm not coming back here until next month.
Right.
You don't find me going day today, tomorrow, and I'm not going to let this sweet catch me and make me its puppet.
Right.
That current roll, no, I'm in control of you, not controlling me.
Yep.
So some people say, well, I take tremendous strength. You understand? For one to do. Some people might say so.
Takes practice.
It's practice.
And a willpower.
And know what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, know what you want.
And eventually, once it becomes practice, the aim is we want to make the behavior automatic. Because you mentioned willpower, but I always like to say persons, and I learned this from following, what's his name? I can't remember. There's a doctor I was following. He had a book that I read. And he calls willpower a battery.
Okay.
And willpower can take us so far and no more. Because eventually you're going to get fed up and you're going to stop.
Yeah.
But what can happen is, so let's take a simple thing. Why is it that you don't require willpower to go to bed?
Yeah, I like that.
Sleep is unnatural.
Sleep is a natural thing.
Or let's say why it's something like that probably doesn't require. Why is that you don't possibly need willpower to go and eat? Well, it depends on where you're at, really and truly. But for the normal person, it's because we have now created a habit. Let's see something that you possibly don't require willpower to do. Give me an example. You like willpower, you don't need willpower to eat. You can to breathe. No, gosh, that one is a really kind of funny one, boy.
It's a natural.
It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
But there's such for examples of some person who clean the house and make sure the house they clean.
Yeah.
Right? They don't require willpower.
That's
Brushing
just
your
that's
teeth.
just a habit day.
You don't necessarily require willpower. All right? Or making sure you cook your food and you cook it in a particular way.
Yeah.
And you decide you could just take the chicken out of the freezer because you still have patience and just throw it in the pot and don't add no seasoning and put some salt and call it George and so we cooking food and we eating. That's an action because we have now make that behavior automatic.
Yeah.
You might be driving and you know sometimes you just accustomed driving this one particular way and you're supposed to go somewhere else, but automatically you find you end up going that place because of habit. And hopefully that's what we
before.
That's
for real.
If you look at how we eat culturally now, it is because that's what we have.
We created that habit.
We've created it. All right. And so things that stay because they are attractive, they're enjoyable, and they are satisfying and they're easy. Those are 4 particular things that make habits stick and become.
Say it again.
So they must be satisfying, they're easy, they're attractive. That's what I missed.
Available.
Available.
No. So it's easy, attractive, satisfying, and oh my gosh, what's the other
I think I heard you say available.
I thought I heard that.
That's what I heard you say.
Could be available.
Yeah,
all right,
available
could be
because
available.
I mean they're easy to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look good. They taste good. Yeah. And they're attractive.
And they're attractive.
They look good, same thing.
And so we kind of get that reward. That kind of reward sense. So overall, that whole Benton slew can be okay. You know what? This is a reward, which is why I don't like the word cheat days at all. It's
days.
so dangerous.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Because when you feel like you need to reward yourself, oh my gosh, the size of the work that I did, and I think it's deserving of a high reward.
And the high reward is such a bad reward because you
overconsume. Yeah. And that's why and that's the thing with a lot of these diets, and I always tell persons, always you go on a lifestyle change. Because if you're not doing a lifestyle change, you're doing a particular diet and you feel that you want to reward yourself, which is why I never tell my clients to reward themselves with food ever.
Something
else, a dangerous thing to do.
Buy a perfume or something.
Buy a perfume or something.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing that, it means that you're now going to create an unhealthy behavior.
Yeah.
So if you feel like, okay, I've lost 10 pounds in the amount of time I'm supposed to lose it, I'm not saying to you go back to tradition and get cake. No.
Yeah. Or wherever.
Right? Because you'll go and you'll say, okay, 10 pounds, 10 slices of cake. You may not say that. You may not necessarily say that, but you get where I'm coming from, though.
Yeah.
And so that is why I always tell persons it's there's no good or bad food, and there is no need to have dietary restrictions and feel like you need to have a cheat day. You can have it, and this is a whole new thing that has been brought out by the intuitive eating aspect of health and wellness. It's a new thing that's on board now, and it's actually helping persons to be able to now control their hunger cues and being able to know that, okay, you don't need to go on a specific diet and feel that you need to pig out and feel that you need to fall apart. Because when you get to the place where you fall apart, it's like, you know what, oh well, it's last what you say? Oh, I'm beating it. Because you know what, I'm being bothered with this whole thing is pressure, and what at the end of that, it's a dangerous cycle.
Because 2 days after you would feel what you put in. You know, when it goes through your bloodstream and it sink in, so to speak, and the body break it down, then it's going to do what it has to do, and then you'll have a terrible day, which could have been avoided. You understand? So when you say a little of it, but you have to know, as we talk about it in the past, know yourself. Very important to get to know yourself.
That's the first thing.
You know,
Step
know yourself. Understand where you're coming from, who you are. What will work for me won't work for you. You understand? So don't take my lifestyle change and slap it on yourself. You could become very frustrated because the convictions are it is different.
Yep.
You understand? So don't try that.
100%.
Don't try that. I want to read our last scripture here, and we will go into the presentation as we jump over into the next hour. So, gluttony brings rebellion. Let me read that scripture here. It was too much, so I can't put it up. Deuteronomy 20, verse 18 to 21. All right. reading from the NIV, I think. It says, if someone has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and his mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. They shall say to the elders, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Right? And that's the reason why he's stubborn. He won't obey them. He's a glutton. He's a drunkard. Then, listen to this part. All the men of his tongue are to stone him to death. You must purge the evil from among you. All Israel will hear of it and be afraid. So, imagine, right? This lazy son, right? This lazy boy. You can imagine, the funny part about the laziness or lazy people, they like the belly.
Yep.
Yeah. And not necessarily because they're lazy, the food they're consuming so much that they're in love with, that causing them to become that gluttonous individual, is what really making them to become sluggish.
Yep.
So they don't want to do stuff because they're constantly hungry. People have this thing that say, well, your worms are.
Right.
How you eating like the more you eat, there's something inside of you eating as you're eating, and they just eat, lie down, watch TV. They don't even want to play with friends. Imagine you have a son like that. They don't want to be active at all. Just lie down and eat. Then why again you go say, maybe he just become rebellious because everything his father and his mother tell him to do, he ain't doing it. You understand?
Relationship,
Yeah? Or is it?
I see the relationship,
So, food is really good. Food is good. Food is like, you need food to live.
Food is awesome.
But don't let food turn you into its puppet.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway today. Yeah. Don't let the food turn you into a puppet.
Don't lose control.
Don't lose control. Don't let it control you. You control yourself and know what is good for you. Let me tell you, barbecue just tastes nice.
It sure
right?
does.
Barbecue, boy, a piece of barbecue with a proper made sauce with the right mixture. This thing that is good.
Yeah.
Right? But I know, as good as it tastes, it is bad for me, based on what I know about me. So should I lose control and say, beat off about 4 pieces? I might take a chance with 1 if I haven't had it in a long time.
Right.
I might drink a lot of water after and hopefully
And say a prayer.
But the idea is not for me to say, I ain't gonna have it at all.
Right.
Some people, they would say, nah, that's my conviction. I don't want it at all. I just don't want it. I don't eat chicken. Some people say, I don't eat pork. I don't eat no goat. My wife does only eat fish and chicken alone.
Right.
And she don't eat no fish in no sauce. You get the picture. Right? So there are ways how she does it.
Right.
And since I know what 13 years, yes, 13 years since we married, 15 years altogether, my wife, I never ever see her eat. I could make fish broth and my sons could say how much they love it. She's not going to have it. Wow. What's her conviction? I don't like it. Okay. You understand?
Yeah.
So no matter where she go, that stays that way. No matter how you may nice it up, just because it's been boiled in a sauce.
Right.
She don't want it.
Right.
You understand? So that's the point I'm making. When you have such strong conviction about things, you don't second guess it.
Right.
No matter what people tell you, take the picture from it. Friends may come and tell you that tastes good, like Eve told Adam, that food, that apple or that fruit rather, looks good. I taste it. You want some? You have to say no. You have to try your best to say no. But as we said, the issue is if there is a particular weakness and there is a particular issue that is beyond just what the thing is. The thing is the end result. People who are stressed, for example, just eat a lot of food, sweet food.
Chocolates.
To make them feel good. Is it good for them? What is it doing? Is it relieving the stress? It makes them feel that way. Not so, Hakim?
It actually does.
But what is it doing really?
And it's okay if you're having it outside of that, because innately again chocolate is okay. But when you're stressed, remember your awareness isn't necessarily there.
Yeah.
And so if you're having it, I'm not saying okay, I'm having 1 or 2 bars. Is it, you call it a bar? You call it a bar?
Yeah.
Is it a bar? You call it just a bar chocolate?
Yeah, bar.
No, not a bar like the cube, but in a bar, you're not having 1 or 2 of those. You might still gonna have the whole pack, and you might have
2 of that
or 3.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes too much, because again, at the end of the day, that's not all you're eating.
And we often, I was saying that the other day, and pick up a plastic bag. A package of biscuit, and I looked at the biscuit and I saw 2 sovereigns.
Right.
And there's 6
Yeah.
round biscuits in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the recommended amount was 3 per serving maximum per day. You get it? So we don't read it.
We don't.
Yeah.
We've been trained naturally when we pick up a pack of biscuit to beat up the whole thing.
Yes.
So when I saw it,
And it's so funny, I was at the barber shop the other day.
Yeah.
And that was it Monday? And the barber was saying, he said, listen, it's just the other day I realized that when you buy those big box of juice, it actually has more than 1 serving in it.
Yes.
And even when I just got into nutrition, I myself didn't realize that, because we're so accustomed with
Just bring the
big-
box in and just drink.
just bring the whole
You
thing
head
it.
and head it.
So the box at Orchard, you are alone drink.
Lord,
Yes.
and you look at, you pick up the package, you look at the ingredients fact on the back, and it says, okay,
Sugar.
this has about 29 grams of sugar.
Sugar.
But hold on, 29 grams multiplied by 4.
Yeah.
Right? And everything else multiplied by 4, calories and all.
Yeah.
And so we wondering at the Christmas season coming, and we wondering why when
Yes,
January
they
come,
come.
we have the resolution, because we now want to try to lose some pounds.
So why do we do some that wickedness?
Because I wouldn't say we don't know better, but it's a learned behavior. And unless you come to that place where you are made aware of, or for some reason you start reading, we don't do that often.
Yeah.
We just use things, and when we're finished,
That's
because we have spare time now, we read at the back of it what
Yeah.
it says after we've already consumed
interesting.
it. So unless that comes to the realization of what is actually happening, and sometimes we realize, but because we're so accustomed to it,
we don't care.
But I've made my observation over the years, and especially when I used to go to the gym. In December, the gym just become empty.
Like my clinics.
What happens in December?
Oh my God.
What happened in the gym in December? In fact, sometimes the gym closed down in December.
Wow.
And reopen in January. And then in January, there's an influx of people in the gym by the 2nd or the 3rd
Right.
week.
because it's seasonal, people.
And
At
the thing is,
Christmas.
once the Christmas season hit and people, they don't check the portions, they just beating off.
You know
Eating.
what I want to check? That thing coming for January, I should have looked where I'm at. Next Christmas I have to watch it. I want to check the pharmacy and see the amount of sand and think that because let me tell you, if what I do now, what I've heard is that listen, after Christmas we know the long time washers have to come true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because after I pick out now, and I need to go and strip
Inside.
everything
Yeah.
in.
But it
And
don't work that
I
way.
know it doesn't work that way.
You know,
Because it doesn't
it's
ship out
amazing that
fast.
you're saying that because the mentality is like it's too they waiting to just
So
for it to
just come
purge it
back
out.
out.
It don't work that way.
It don't work that way.
It don't work that way, and that's the thing about sin too. When you think about it,
We like
for
we like a
sin,
one fix.
for you to get forgiveness of sin, you have to have conviction,
Yep.
and you have to be convicted enough to say to God, "I was wrong."
Right.
All right? So I know, God, I'm asking you to forgive me.
Right.
And I believe you can. And there I have forgiveness, right? Because I believe God can. And he said, and I may even use the scripture. He say, Lord, you say you will cast my sins into the sea of forgetfulness and remember them no more.
Right.
So God is your word, you can't lie. In fact, you say, if I forgive others too, you will forgive me. So
Right.
the Bible tells me a lot about forgiveness.
Right.
But think about the food now. You think the food does work like that?
No, it doesn't.
You know, you may need deliverance. And deliverance could be a process.
Yeah.
So you don't need just forgiveness alone. You need deliverance from the issue that you have created.
Yes, please.
You know, because you could create a bad habit only in December.
Yes.
Simple.
and it prolongs.
And it goes into the January, February.
March,
Don't forget,
April.
some of this
May.
food does remain in the
Yes,
fridge
yes.
and in the stove until January.
Yeah.
And then when New Year come, we do it again sometime, eh?
Yeah.
So you have some remainders then. You ain't chewing that because guess what? Sacrificial money. I work hard whole
Yes.
year for that money. I should have my bonus. You tell them, I want the bone and all the put in a soup.
Right, yep.
Not
Yes,
even that
yes.
chewing.
Nothing can
You understand?
Yes.
So you want to
Nothing shall be
consume
wasted.
everything. Talk about the food. And I mean, people do it with other things. But I always think the food part is a little more like, you could get your attention because you need food to survive.
Right.
You don't wear the same clothes every day. You can
Correct.
switch. You understand? So the clothes and all the extra things that people could become gluttonous about and being selfish again. Food is a bit different. When a man hungry, there's an emotion to match with that. So it's not just that I like the clothes alone, but the food.
Right.
Your belly talking to you.
Gotcha.
And he's saying to you, listen, man, feed me.
And you know,
And-
sorry to cut you, but it reminded me of a conversation I had just the other day with one of my friends.
Uh-huh.
And there was a situation that happened, and she stopped to think, and she was like, "What have I really done with my money? Like on a serious note,
Right.
Yeah.
what can I say I have attained for the few years that I'm working?"
Yeah.
And you know, we sit and we thought about it. It was like, but we can surely tell that most of our money, if we say we spend it on food.
Food.
Like if you really pay attention to it, Savvy, like we would spend money
No,
on
no, the
food
food ingredient
without thinking
is the
about it.
highest in the budget, in the scheme of a budget. If you look at the budget, anybody budget who is responsible and not people who just staying in somebody's
Right.
house, who somebody feeding them.
Yes.
The person who has to work for their money and spend it, if you put that, whether your budget or not, food is the highest.
It is.
If clothes is the highest, then you have to check yourself. You
Yeah.
have a problem.
You got a problem.
You have a problem.
No, but food, we spend a lot on food.
That is true.
And if we don't pay attention to it, if we run to town, we're going to stop at the supermarket and get a drink. We're going to stop
And
there.
for those of us who can listen, and I know this has been a struggle for me, and I've had to now employ other things to try to work at it, because if you go to work and you know you're cooking at home, you don't have time to
Yes.
cook in the week. Let me tell you, KFC will be your friend. It's also going to be some other restaurants, and food is not cheap.
Yeah.
If you're paying $10 for lunch, that's like how much? That's
Do the
$50
maths,
a
do the
week,
maths, and do it for the year.
and do it for the year.
Yeah.
And so that's minus food that like groceries I'm buying every week, and that's minus the extra things I'm buying for them children to go to school, and then like a snack that we just give them. And so again, the question is, how is it serving you? Is it helpful?
Yeah.
Not always. Not
And as
always.
Abby was rightfully saying, hunger
Right.
is something that it comes upon us. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
You can't escape hunger.
No, not at all.
And sometimes you have your food you eat now, and you would think, well, you're good for the rest of the evening, but you're sitting working and you become hungry again. So food, I understand now the whole thing with greed and gluttony and
yeah.
so on, because it is something that if we don't control,
Yep.
it can really get out of hand.
Correct.
Yeah. And the reality is, when you think about a glutton or gluttony, the first thing that comes to mind is food.
Yes.
The other things matters, but like the first
The
thing
food.
that
That
the thing
jumps
that get the highest grade is the food.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. You know, so there's just so much we can talk about there, but let us move on, Akeem. Let's move on. So I'm gonna try to put your presentation on the screen now.
All right, I sent you a picture. Did you get it?
Yes, I did. You want to start
Can,
there?
can we do that first?
Let me try and see if I can make that work, boy. I might have to
Alright.
talk over it because of how it is, yes?
Okay, no problem.
Hold on, let me try another thing and see if I'm going to get it.
Alright, and
put it as a slide.
I think it's something that every Grenadian should know. We have it. I went to a clinic today, and I said no. I went to. It was one of our nursing home facilities, and I was talking to the staff today about malnutrition and how do we identify malnutrition in the elderly.
Can't get that one.
No, we're not getting it.
I'll have to put it up like this. It'll cover us.
All right, awesome. All right, so guys, if you're looking and you don't know what it is, please take some time to look at it. It says healthy choices for healthy living. Every Grenadian that you know that is living here and that's experiencing the same culture as you do should know this particular chart. It's called the FBDG, or the Food-Based Dietary Guidelines for Grenadians. If you want to live a healthy lifestyle, you should be following this. It's a simple and easy tool guide that we use and we recommend, and that's from the Food and Nutrition Council, guys. A lot of study and a lot of investment went into this, and it was developed in collaboration with Ministries of Agriculture and the Food and Agriculture Organization. It's an international organization, and so we're talking about before we go into the presentation, this is a foundation I would always want to set. What are our food groups? Do we know what our food groups are? And oftentimes, if we don't know that we have food groups, we can get carried away and get out of control. All right, so the very first thing that you'll see is staples. Now, staples are anything that you can take, or any food that you can think of that's a starch. So that's things like breadfruit. We can see sweet potato, corn. Corn is not a vegetable. Please, I beg. I tend to hear this a lot. Corn is not a vegetable. No. All right, it's a starch. Banana, when it's green. We have breadfruit. That's the dashi. That's, you can be macaroni, pasta. Just name it. Once it's a starch, bread, name it. The next thing is food from animals. Anything that's coming from an animal is milk, fish, eggs, poultry, beef, mutton, food from animals. We have fruits. We know what those are. We have vegetables. And again, those vegetables are things like pumpkin, green leafy vegetables, cucumbers, and so forth. So plantain is not a vegetable. Dashing are not vegetables. Some people tell me that all the time. And so we're talking about education today, and it's important that we know what these are. The very next group will be called is peas, beans, and nuts. And this is what Grenadians know them as. And so hence it's on your food-based dietary guidelines. And we don't have legumes. But on the Caribbean food group, it's called legumes. And then the next one is fats and oils. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's important that you know that. Having that as a foundation, it means that as we go forward, we know what we need to get. Now, in the center there we have water, and there's a particular reason why that it's centering everything is because it means we need to have water every single day. Every single day. The recommendation is usually 2.7 liters for men and 3.7 liters. No, 2.7 for women and 3.7 for men. Now, what's important about this here? Because we know that different foods have different food groups, it's simply because that those foods are similar when it comes to nutritional quantities. So we know that starches tend to have the same in terms of nutrition. They're high in carbohydrates. Food from animals, same thing as fruits and same thing as vegetables. We must understand that as a foundation. So going forward in the Christmas holiday, we can overdo by having the rice and peas and still having the provision. We still put some plantain. We might do a little breadfruit. We might still do a little shepherd's pie. We might do lasagna. There might be some food from animals from the lasagna, but it's mostly starch. All right, and we pick it out, and then we decide we having how much different pieces of chicken. We might have some fish. We might have pork. We might have vegetables. What else we may have? We decide we having ham with the lunch. We having baked chicken. We having fish. Every single thing, and it's not in small portions. We ain't doing that. No, we're not doing that at all. We're having big plates, and we'll come to that plate size just now. But again, this is what we're talking about. The food-based dietary guidelines for Grenadians. Know what they are. Talk about it with your family, because it means that if you want to make sure that the person around you is living healthy and they're practicing healthy life. So this is Healthy Choices for Healthy Living guidelines for Grenadians. And we see the things in the bottom. So I mean, listen, I personally not a fan of ham, but I'm not saying to you that we to not do ham. So I'm going to give you a little trick and a little tip. So why we're on it today, ham is a cultural thing. So I'm not going to bash it. It has its place. However, there is something in ham that's called sodium nitrate. It's like a plug that we're going to talk about. So if you pick up a ham, you pick up a sausage, any of those foods you pick up, and you go onto the ingredients fact, you see sodium nitrate on it. All right, that is a preservative. However, that individual sodium nitrite is a known carcinogen. What is a carcinogen? It means it's a ingredient. It's a compound that has the ability to contribute towards cancer development. Okay. Now, the issue is that as a culture, if I'm going and I'm having I'm having those processed meats. So person sometimes will do a lot of sausage for the children and get them to go to school all the time, not realizing that we're actually doing a very dangerous thing. And Christmas is ham and bread and ham and white bread. I'm stressing on the white bread because that there is no whole wheat bread with that extra fiber to play a role in pulling some of those carcinogens out and preventing from being absorbed. And so what can happen is if I'm doing food that's high in fiber and I'm eating it in collaboration with this, it means that it has the ability somehow to soak in some of that carcinogen. All right, and in soaking in it, it bypasses absorption and it comes out in the stool. So that's one way having adequate fiber in the day and for the Christmas holiday can actually help make your health overall a little beneficial. The next thing is that what can happen with this if we consume this in a balanced diet or have it with some food that's high in vitamin C. The vitamin C can now inhibit and prevent the conversion of this of the nitrates to nitrosamine, prevent that conversion from nitrates to nitrosamines, and then prevent that carcinogenic activity. For the last 10 years, I could be mistaken, but I don't think I'm mistaken with this. Cancer has been the leading cause of death in Grenada. Wow. It has been the leading cause of death and has not dropped. You find diabetes and high blood pressure, they have been fluctuating, and some of them have come to the fore. But as we're going with that, I have to put a plug for that for the Christmas season, because you can find we can take the ham, we can go into the season, and then we go with the sausages. So it's one thing that we shouldn't be having so often. Please, please, please. That's one. The second thing is we're gonna have, you see in the corner we have alcoholic beverages. That's something that we want to control. Listen, I had a session at Grandin's medical station. It was a few weeks ago, and I was talking to some of the person at the doctor's clinic. I said, listen, we don't understand how dangerous alcohol is. At another program, we can get more specific into it, but alcohol actually has the ability to damage your DNA. Now, your DNA is what is the message that God has put in your body. So it says, okay, your hair needs to be black, it needs to be a certain length, your teeth need to be a certain way, your eyes are brown. If you get a cut, your body needs to heal that cut and not just leave it open to create a hole in your body. If you get a gunshot wound, your body needs to heal it and not just leave the hole there to pass through like a space. Right. Your DNA is responsible for that. So if you find that we're doing something that's actually damaging the actual DNA, it means that it's damaging the body's ability to respond to the design that God has put in place. Right? So the issue with all of this is that we overdoing the alcohol and we overdoing the ham in the Christmas season and not realizing how dangerous it can be. So we talk about two things that are carcinogens and cancer causing, and if we're going into the new year with the behaviors and the habits, then we can see how dangerous that is. Cancers don't just develop overnight, and they take time. So it's something that we want to look out for and pay particular attention to. And so this is why we encourage persons as much as you can to avoid them. You might like it and not say, I personally wouldn't say to you avoid it, but healthy choices for healthy living, the guidelines for Grenada, I recommend that you avoid them. All right? With the Christmas season, we're looking at how we're preparing meals as well. You want to not fry a lot. Not fry a lot. There are a lot of different cooking methods. You have baking, you have steaming, you have stewing, different types of cooking methods, and your food can taste the same. You have grilling that also is much healthier. And listen, so we had a barbecue. Jerry Fletcher had a barbecue on Saturday. Yeah. And this lady walks up to the barbecue. She's like, listen, I want the fatty piece of the pork. Yeah. And so she said, make sure I put a nice plump piece of fat in there. Yeah. And I'm like, in my mind, I didn't say it. I was very far away from her, but I'm like, oh man, I'm like, Lord of mercy, I could feel my arteries crying out. Yeah. Because I remember my mother, when we got ham for Christmas, she didn't want me to throw away the fat pieces. Yeah. No, that is the best part. But again, after you've cooked, now this is oil, this is fat. Usually, sometimes if you take like coconut oil is saturated, if you heat it up, it's going to become liquid. Yeah. Now you taking this piece of ham, right, and you are boiling it high temperature, by the way, to get that ham to cook. Sometimes some people might pressure cook it, and that piece of fat standing up strong like a man. So under that ham after it's cooked, and you're eating that, and you're not concerned. Yeah, we should be concerned. True. Around Christmas time. And again, we're going back to portions, because when we have it, we're not having one small slice, we're having a big slice, and the big chunk of fat it's got to be there. Big portion of it, man. Big portion of it. So these are just specific foods that we tend to go out in over the Christmas holiday, but I'm saying we're not coupling that to the big portion of rice and everything else. So I'm saying we can't just look at them in isolation. We must understand what the food groups are as a foundation. If you don't know it, because you could be doing things blindly because you're just not aware.
That's right.
All right. So let's start as a foundation. You got to know what this is. It's, if you Google it, food-based dietary guidelines for Grenadians. Please go and find the picture and you can go ahead and share it, or go on the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council's page, find the picture and share it. Every Grenadian should know what it is. All right. If you look at the chart again, you'll see that the foods are in different proportions. Now, there's a certain percentage that's for the day. So the biggest one, you can't look at it necessarily by telling, but because I have seen the technical document, I know that vegetables happen to be the biggest portion. What does that mean? It means that in the day, the most particular food group we should be having above everything else is vegetables. Hands down. It means that you should be having some peas and beans. You should be having at least some fruit every single day. Some level of starch. That's not a problem because we had a dung pack. We had a dung pack. Some food from animals. If you're a vegetarian, then I would say let's go on more peas and beans. That's why they both in red. And then fruits and fats and oils. Fats and oils is never a problem. That's never a problem with us. But fruits and vegetables, right? And that peas and beans section there, it's usually a challenge. And it's usually a challenge in the proportion. So we tend to do a lot more starch. So sometimes starch might account for starch, food from animals, and fruits as a culture. All right? And that is where one of the problems, because all that extra starch, you're not using it, it's going to be stored as fat. And starch is easily stored.
True.
All right? What isn't stored as easily? Fiber is not broken down and stored as easily. Protein is not stored as easy. Again, and listen, we talk about the gym. People, why the gym empty in Christmas time? I don't why?
Because we have to stop exercise. We have to pause so that we can.
No, man, there is no need. There is no need, and the gym shouldn't be empty around Christmas time.
The men in the gym must close the gym too, because they realize. Listen, you see, we talk about habits and what happened.
No.
They realize it's a habitual thing. 50% or more of the population of the people that come to the gym for the year,
that's crazy.
They don't go back. They don't go around Christmas
That's
time.
crazy. We have the things that we can do. Even if you don't go to the gym, go to the gym still. Listen, that's gonna help you burn off those extra calories. It's gonna help. You may not go and give a 30 minutes or an hour, but you gotta show up. If you don't show up, it's not getting done.
But then there's other aspects too. Remember, it's a whole season we're looking at.
Well, that's that. So even if you can't,
you have to take into consideration.
Do something at home.
Go to the beach.
Do something at home.
Make it fun.
If the gym closed because the man say, well, that's the case, the gym won't. Okay,
that is family time. That's my vacation.
Right. So the man want to take a break because he have a family.
Right.
Yeah.
Then make sure you do something still at home.
Put on the music
and dance.
That's
it.
And don't just walk up and take it and go.
Yeah.
And clean the cloth. No. Find something. Clean the yard. Do some kind of cutlass in.
Yeah.
These simple things, if we do them out of the ordinary, can help and play a part in us actually using more calories and more energies. But again, guys, listen, I'm saying this again. I'm putting a plug because this is so important. I'm surprised that so much people don't know that we have this. It came out in 2020. And it's something that we should all know. So please find it and share it. Food-based dietary guidance for Grenadians, guys. All right? And make sure to get enough water for the Christmas holiday, yeah?
Plenty water.
Because there's a real sodium in the ham, and then please, coconut water will be a plus, and some banana with the potassium to help control them blood pressure.
Yeah.
If you have a chronic disease, I'm begging, you have an auntie, and a cousin, and then a grandmother with some kind of high blood pressure, please tell her ease up the ham. Tell them get her ease up this Christmas season.
Go down on it.
Get her ease up, right?
Don't even eat it. Stay away. Don't put it in the house. Don't do that. If you know she have a weakness to it, don't put it in the house.
We supporting family members. So I remember one year, one of my clients, he said to me, he said, Mr. Williams, he said, listen, he said, I'm making a conscious choice. He said, I won't do the ham because the blood pressure don't control. I go buy some pork instead, some fresh pork, and I go cook it instead. And again, I'm going back because we have to understand the cultural relevance of these things. And I know ham, we love ham, but ham, salting is a preservation method.
Preservation is a lot.
And so that the original of it, and we know people like they would con the pork and they would con fish and different things, and we know that in those times we did not have refrigerators. So we know that the aim of it was to have it for a long time. So it means therefore that now we have refrigerator, we don't need to cook the whole leg of ham. Cut that ham in half and we can have it some other time so that we don't overdo it.
Because Akim, sorry for cutting you, because the mentality, you know, man, when I used to eat ham, salt in particular, and I know it's there, passing to go in
every
the kitchen,
second.
and mind you, living a piece cut. So pass it, got a piece of
Yeah,
paper,
just take it.
So that's easy.
and he eats.
And it's satisfying.
Yeah.
We have a habit being formed.
But
And it's available.
There you go. It's available. So listen, but it's not available. You can have it.
You don't have it. So I am personally not buying ham. So my sister even offered to send me one. I said no. I said no, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
No, it's if I go and you want to offer me ham and you come, I will take a 2 slices, but I will know when I have it. End the story. That's it.
Case closed. Yeah.
Case is closed. I'm not overdoing the ham. But if I only have that ham home every second of the
I tell
day,
you, the food, the taste, you know. So I know, and then you have the new one now, the frozen one, right?
Sodium is still a problem.
It's still sodium.
Sodium
and that one tricky, because now it's a bit sweet. So it's sweet, so you cannot hide in the amount of salt content in it, you know. But anyway, to which his own, we could only tell you, you know.
So yeah, guys, let me tell you, save yourself some money for the future. I'm not saying that you can't have ham, but it's okay to have 1 or 2 slices.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Have it preferably with some whole wheat bread.
Yeah.
For that fiber and that binding capacity. And I would say have something with vegetable with fruit or vegetable in it. So if you're looking back the food directory, guys, for the last time, let's just pull it up for the last time. I always recommend the persons Christmas coming and how it is that I'm going to be plating my meals. Listen, you want to have at least more than 2 things on the plate. So it's got to be more than bread and cheese. It's got to be more than bread and fish. It's got to be more than bread and ham. Add some vegetables with, have a fruit with it on the side, and so that you're not overdoing. So I'm saying, whenever we talk about portions, we talk about a particular food group, whenever you get to the limit, I'm saying go to the next one. So starches, you have about a cup of rice and peas. That's enough. Don't put 3 and 4 pot spoons. On to the next thing. Not the next starch. Not macaroni pie, not shepherd's pie. If you're gonna have that for Christmas, it means that you need to cut down that amount of rice. I don't have it, right? And have something else. And you want to move to something else. So I'm going to say move to having a little bit more protein, because that protein is going to make you feel a little bit more full and you won't be as hungry. And I'll say vegetable is usually sometimes considered a free food. It's not a free food, but the chances are it's going to be more beneficial, because the amount of vegetable you have to eat for it to become harmful, your stomach don't have enough room to hold it.
Okay.
That's period.
Right.
You don't have enough. So you can do a staple.
What about the preparation of it in terms of the vegetables? Because some people may choose to, put a lot of salt and a lot of extra things
that's crazy.
In it just to get the taste that they want, you know.
So I said to persons, and someone said to me, they said, Akim, you just waste seasoning. We went to a school the other day to do a program. Mr. Pluton, and he's our product development and training officer at the council. And he's like, all that seasoning? And I'm saying, yes, all that seasoning, because what you're doing is that you're putting, onion is a vegetable, garlic is a vegetable, they are natural foods, and you're putting them to flavor your food so that you're not putting as much salt. So I season 3 times. When I'm seasoning my meat, I season before, during, and after. So I have a lot of onions prepared, a lot of garlic prepared, so I'm using that to flavor my food. So my food doesn't have a lot of sodium in it. Right. And I am still buying dry things like parsley flakes. I'm still buying, so I have Mrs. Dash, which is kind of expensive, but you could do your own thing. Yeah. People have basil, shadow benny growing outside the house. You have big thyme. We can plant some rosemary. We can get the little pepper flakes and the different things and the clove and these different that we have locally available to us, and add flavor to our food for the Christmas season. And don't put salt in everything. Put salt in your meat and them alone. Leave the vegetable, flavor it with seasoning, flavor the rice with seasoning. Please don't put a whole lot of salt, because at the end of the day, one coconut is full of basket.
That's an important point.
So if it is salt in the chicken, we put in salt in the rice, in the vegetable. We have macaroni pie, and cheese is high in sodium, so I will say that, so that we don't need to put in salt. We might still put salt in it. And we're doing that, and we're putting salt in the ground beef, because some people might make lasagna for Christmas. Yeah. We're putting salt in that ground beef. have some
so
level of sodium in it already, and you
entirely.
put ketchup and tomato sauce have sodium in it already, and then we're still having ham. Because we think that the issue is that when we boil the ham and the ham don't taste like your salt, that the sodium is magically gone. The sodium is still there. So something doesn't have to be tasting salty for it to be high in sodium. That's a misconception because that's a very subjective feeling. I might eat it and somebody else might eat it, and if you have a higher salt tolerance, it's not going to taste the same.
Yes.
It's not going to taste the same. So it's something to be wary of for the Christmas season. So tip 1, please, have more than 2 things on your plate. I suggest having a staple, having a food from animals. If you are a vegetarian, you can have some peas and bean. You can make a bean patty, a bean burger, a lentil loaf, something that you would actually like and enjoy. And then you can have some vegetable with it, right? If you're doing ham for this season, I'm saying tomatoes has vitamin C in it. Something that you can have raw. The green bell peppers, yellow bell peppers have vitamin C in it. If you can't have that available, you have orange or some kind of fruit. We don't have guava in season. What we have in season right now?
Golden apple.
We have golden apple in season. If you have the ripe one, that's an awesome choice that you can have. Make some golden apple chow. You cut out them golden apple, you get some onion. As onions, you get peppers, the seasoning pepper, a little bit of garlic, shadow benny. You blend it up together and you cut up your golden apple and you put it in, you put in a nice big jug and you take some out and you can have that with your meals. Alright? You don't have to cook everything down. And you can have it on the side in a small bowl, and there you go. You can get some vitamin C.
Some flavor.
All right, and you have some flavor. So it's almost like doing a kind of salsa kind of a thing, right? A kind of sweet and sour, kind of tangy kind of flavor, and you can and guess what? That's gonna go really nice with ham. And so if we're doing that, pineapple, you get some. If I'm seeing for pineapple around the place, some people might plant. Like, if you know the label have pineapple selling, we can do some pineapple. Don't bake the pineapple, please, because you're killing the vitamin C. Don't do it. So people take, yes, it's flavorful, but if you have some fresh pineapple, you can take that very pineapple and you can have that pineapple with your ham for breakfast in the morning time, and that vitamin C in the pineapple is actually going to help deactivate the carcinogenic nature of the ham, and that's a beneficial way that we can now go forward and enjoy the meal and not feel like we're damaging our health,
right,
or we're having balance. So we have starch, we have meat, we have vegetables. We can save the rest for another time. It means that when the day is finished, you want to have something from at least every single group.
Okay.
Every single group, and including water. So that's healthy choice for healthy living.
So that calls for a level of planning.
Yes, definitely.
Because if you don't plan for it, it will become very difficult.
Definitely.
So it also tells us when you go to the supermarket, you should have an idea what you should be buying. You should have an idea what you want in your plate. So put it in your fridge and in your cupboards, or else you will find yourself eating very, 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 very different. And you'll be getting what you are, what you eat. That's what we say. As you put it in, you go on you. As you're putting it in,
you bet.
It goes on you.
Yep.
All right, you want to share the slide?
Yes, so the slide now. I had to resurrect the slide, y'all. Portions gone out of control. I had to resurrect this. I remember doing this presentation when I was in school, and I said it's so timely. Okay. Yeah, so we can skip past this for this first slide.
All right, so guys, if you're viewing, if you're listening, you might want to jump on our YouTube page so you can see what we are talking about. All right, please, you can do that.
All right, so which is why I mentioned the coincidence of the whole thing started. And we talk about striking a balance. Oftentimes we need to realize that we're physical and but we're also spiritual. And whatever we do in one particular in the physical affects us spiritually. All right, I did this presentation for our church. And I was trying to get them to know that the very actions and the behaviors that we're doing that's affecting our eating and us going out of control affects our ability to perform spiritually and to do things with that level of self-control, because self-control is the underlying tool that's necessary for being able to overcome these things. We could go to the next one. All right. Next one. So portions. What is a portion? I think that's one of the biggest things that we tend to get out of control. So the portion, the amount of an individual food item eaten at a single sitting. It is an average or estimated service size based on in the individual. So it's very individualized. So Sabi, your portion can be different from my portion. Of course, your portion can be different from my portion. There's not a standard thing. And so again, we can throw this whole thing around and not realize, okay, you know what? I went to Trinidad one time and we went to Gulf City Mall, and I was in amazement. I ordered some macaroni pie, and when I see the big piece of pie, I'm like, what? And so I am so accustomed with when you go to Andas, you get the little piece of pie because you know they're trying to cut and contrive, and yeah, you know, and it's very expensive. So I was shocked.
I'm going in Barbados, boy.
At the massive.
Hey, bro, I went in Barbados one time, right? So on the airport,
right?
And I said, well, give me a portion and the spaghetti.
Right.
When I get a portion, brother, it's like a whole plate.
Yep.
I say, well, I can't eat that. I too much. I say, well, miss, give me a half portion. I say, give me a half portion. It's still too much.
Yep.
I say, well, give me a quarter portion. And I still cannot eat all.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I wonder when they say Bajan women are so big.
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
And so it's something that we got to know zooming on. So it's important that we know that what a portion is.
Yeah.
You go to Andas, the Andas portion may be different to who else will sell food in town. To possibly Chucky, the portion that they have in the roti size.
Yeah.
Somebody may make a roti skin. One roti skin may be different in terms of portion, but that may be their portion.
Right.
So it's important when we talk about portion that we understand that it's an individualized thing.
And people just say, me going there and buy food there. They have to give me enough. Because that individual, the portion,
right,
what they need for their body, it may not be bad.
Right.
It's just that the size for the money and fulfilling the individual need.
And we had
so
this
they
very
choose to
full
go somewhere
culture,
else.
though.
But if that's sometimes some people now overdo it by buying 3 portions or 2 portions. So they don't need the whole 2 portions. It's more because people are aware they want it to be healthy, so they're not giving you too much. But you know, talk about luxurious eating.
Right.
You go extra. You want to make sure your plate look like a mountain of food. When you sit down at
sprawl.
that table, people pass and they watch and they say, what boy, things good boy, eating good.
Yep.
And you're laughing. When you get up, you have to loosen your belt a bit because you know your pants too tight now because what happened?
And you gotta sleep if you're feeling real sleepy after.
You can't go back to work and give the boss what he's due. Oh boy. Yeah.
Alright, so let's move on to the next one. So it's not the same. Let's bust this myth. So many people worrying using the word interchangeably, portions and serving sizes.
Okay.
And that's not the same thing. We're gonna bust the myth and we're gonna see what is the major difference between a portion and a serving. Alright. So a serving is a standard measurement of a quantity of food. They may be bigger or smaller depending on factors. However, it is measurable by standard parameters. Example, 1 teaspoon is a standard teaspoon across the board. It's not going to change based on what you cook and based on what I cook. It's a teaspoon. 240 ml, which is the equivalent to about a cup, is a standard serving. So if you go and we see the 200 water, the 500 liters of water, there's about 2 cups of water in there. So that's small bottles. That's a gauge. So if you know you need to get water, you just buy bottled water. That's 2 cups already for the day.
Right.
So it means that if I need to have 8 glasses to be the minimum, I need to have at least 4. Right? Of those. So we move into the next thing. A pong is a standard. We maybe just make pong cake. That's a standard. That's not changing. And then we have 2 ounces, standard servings.
Right.
All right? Now, the amount of an individual food item eaten in a single sitting, it is an average or estimated serving size. That's a portion. So you can have 2 servings and that can be your portion.
Right.
You see the difference? Yeah. So whereas a serving can be 1, you can have 3 servings and that can be your portion.
Yeah.
So for the Christmas season, guys, it's important as we going, we know what this symbol mean. So then, for example, typical things are a standard serving. 1 slice of bread is a standard serving. Am I saying to eat 1 slice of bread? No, I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying you can do 2, but it's important that you be aware of what it is. So if I have 2 slices of bread, I would say for most persons, you can park there. Let's move to the next food group. We can go to food from animals and we can try to have at least 3 ounces. And 3 ounces is equivalent to about a deck of cards, or we have a mouse here, about this much, right? Or you may not have that available. You can use the palm of your hand. So I say, like, block this off and you can use just this portion here.
Okay.
And that's equivalent to about 3 ounces, right? And
So as you said that day, I was looking into that because my wife was having a conversation about the palm of the hand, and now you said block it off and use this portion here, but then when I Google it, I saw it means even your finger.
for protein.
So you had to fold it in.
So this is usually used to measure starch.
Oh, okay. For protein.
Not for protein.
Okay, so for protein.
For protein, you would block your fingers off, your thumbs off,
Right.
and you would only use the inside
Okay.
as an
Okay.
estimation.
Right.
All right. If you
So
look-
that's the length of the meat you're saying.
approximately.
Approximately. And the thickness is even the palm.
And
the
you
whole.
you could
Because you know somebody might cut it, but it might be fat.
So imagine the size of a deck of cards. I would
Yes.
say.
Okay. Great.
All right. That's
Great.
about 3 ounces or so.
Okay.
You can use your fingertips. So like one here is like a teaspoon.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so if you want to do like some peanut butter or something, you can possibly do this much. This is like a tablespoon or like this much here.
Mm-hmm.
Like a tablespoon.
Right.
All right, this part of the thumb, and that's one way that we can use to kind of monitor our portions. It's going to take practice, and it's going to come with over time. Listen, I had to practice this over and over to get it. And person will say to me, "You do like to measure." Let's talk about measuring. And I had this discussion today.
We're talking portions.
I'm talking must talk measurement, and I'm saying, person, I said, "You're making a kick in my sleep. I doesn't measure, I doesn't measure." And I'm saying, "You doesn't measure. You does measure. You does measure, because measurement is count, it's weight." And its volume. So if you decide I have this one particular cup in the kitchen and that's for flour and that's for water you're measuring, the difference is you may do an inaccurate measurement. We just look at our grandparents and we just say they just make a wonderful cake and we just try and see we want to try to make it like them. What we don't know is that our grandparents, they have made this thing over and over trial and error. So that recipe in their head. And they have developed this skill because they've been practicing or being able to eyeball what it is. You don't necessarily have that skill.
No.
So what has happened, and some persons, God bless the person who invented the recipes and writing things down, bless them. We can look at a recipe that has been written down and test it and try. They made the mistake already, so I don't need to come and play like I know it.
Again,
I just follow instructions and I can do it. The same thing when it comes to healthy eating. You don't. I don't say you have to measure everything, but I will encourage everybody to start. Because by starting somewhere, you become conscious and you open your awareness as to what a standard serving is, and you can approximate your portions around standard serving sizes. Right? So that it means that therefore that for the Christmas season, I know I'm not going to overdo and have stew chicken, curry pork.
Yes.
No, it doesn't stew pork.
I said that mean
curry goat.
A lot of portions of it.
And
It's to the plate, right?
And
for how many different meats on the plate, because the options are available because the family comes together with it.
And we come into that.
Yeah.
You see that plate size there?
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait for it, guys.
Ahead, yeah.
You don't want to miss it. Share the live. You don't want to miss it. You come into plate size, and that's a big thing that we're gonna see. So let's go to the next slide.
Yeah.
So how we get it? So remember, portion and serving, they are different things. A serving is a standard measurement, whereas a portion is more flexible, and you can have 2 servings being a portion. But we want to know how we control those portions. So we'll say, therefore, for the holiday, let's not try and have 4 and 5 portions at one meal. That's crazy. If you have 2, go to the next group. All right. So again, here we're seeing servings versus portion. So a standard serving is 8 ounces. That's a cup. That's 100 calories. But we know when we go and buy them bottled drinks, it's not no cup. It's not when you buy a bottle of Coca-Cola or a bottle of Fanta or something, it's not a cup in there. You have something is 20 ounces. And even though when you go to KFC and you go to those drink places, like I went to New York and they have those massive super-sized cups.
Yeah.
And that's a portion. Right? But it might have 3 and 4 servings in there.
Inside the portion.
You see?
Yeah.
And again, we have to realize that there's a lot of marketing involved, and what is these producers now trying to get us to just drink more because they need to make more money.
Let me just show something there, as you said that. One of the things to observe is, if you look at most of those big companies like that market this stuff, they are actually selling something. No. You hear about Red Bull. Red Bull is what? They selling excitement, energy. Although they selling that, so you feel if you're doing such, you need a Red Bull. Well, we know. A pharmacist told me years ago, you see Red Bull, He say, Panama, how much cocaine in that? Stay away from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said to me. Right? And then think about Mr. Thing in the bottle that is black. Right? Now, they are selling happiness
Mm-hmm.
in the adverts.
Right.
In the black thing in the bottle that make a lot of bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't tell you how it is made. They don't show you how it is made.
Mm-hmm.
They never show you how it is made.
Right.
They just show you people in a bar, somebody pop it, and everybody jolly. We watching TV. It's all about fun and excitement. So you feel like when you're having fun and excitement, you're connecting that particular drink now with that fun and excitement. And then there's this other thing in tongue. And they will say to us, they eat fresh and thing. But if you scrutinize their meat, and if you buy chicken in the supermarket, and the supermarket's chicken, if you watch the chicken, and you watch the eating fresh chicken, and you compare them, do me a favor, take it, buy it, carry a piece home, buy a piece of chicken in the supermarket, come home, take a fork, juke two of them together, bend it, play around with two of them, make a comparison. And they say to you that's a healthier choice. Right? Just my observation of recent, and I vote to myself.
You know how it again?
That choice is not the healthier choice for me.
Right.
From here on.
Okay.
They may put 2 pieces of greens in it, which is less of it.
Right.
And they may add some cucumbers and so on. Right? But the meat, which is the more, it is like a lot. And if you taste the meat like you're tasting crackers, intentionally you would realize the amount of salt in it too. And you check the meat and it look like sponge. Anyway, and have to be all clear.
And so you can go.
As
You
a
can
fresh
you,
choice.
you can go on the internet
And you could Google it.
There have been studies on this. I remember now studying nutrition. This is an exciting thing for us.
Yeah.
And there was even a video on YouTube. I think it was done by, was it McGill University? They had some dietitians bring in and they had a chef cook it, and people blindfold and asking to tell the difference and which was real and which was real.
Yeah.
But there is evidence to show that after they've been tested, it's not 100% meat.
No.
And there's a lot of fillers of soy and so in there.
And a lot of things like that.
But again, and going back to the portion, I don't still buy it, but I still buy it. But I'm buying consciously aware of what I'm doing, and for me, if I'm going to tongue, it's about preference. Because I don't feel like having roti every time. And there's little, so there was a day I literally, and I said, Akim, you need to do better than this. I walk around tongue looking for something, literally, and I'm like, no,
Akim, you will have a hard time finding something healthy to eat. Yeah, because whilst there's another healthy option, ish. I say ish because then you have a mixture of the preservative things in a can, right? And then the natural stuff being placed together.
Right.
So it's like, you may say again that is the healthier choice, and not the same place where they say eat fresh. I'm talking about the next place, right? And if you go and you analyze and you ask question, where did this come from?
Right.
And they are honest with you and they tell you it was poured from a can. Then you realize they didn't wash it, and even if they wash it, they can't get rid of the preservatives in it.
But
so
it's really difficult. I think the better thing for you to do is to prepare your meals. Isn't at home.
It's the ideal thing.
But we had an issue the other day where we went to the market and we got a cabbage, and the cabbage was really nice and big and
outside.
So in the market.
Outside, it was outside, nice looking.
Yeah,
nice outside.
like it was really looking nice and smooth and everything. And while cutting it up, we realized it was like kind of hard to cut, and so we decided to add some fire to it, and it wasn't burning at all. And then we realized
it wasn't burning. What color it was?
It was green. It was like a normal looking cabbage, but it just wasn't taking the fire and all that. And so we realized that even when we're buying local, we have to now look at where our local people getting the products from.
There you go.
So
because a lot of the food,
it's a challenge now to get food.
It's what my friend showed me, newfound partner, and hopefully we start a program in the next year on some of them things, because a lot of things are GMO. They are genetically modified foods.
That's a different conversation.
So we talk about the preservative, but when we move to that side, we would think that's where it's dangerous, because you would think you put in healthy stuff in your body,
Right.
but then it's a deeper conversation.
But it's a deeper conversation. It's a very debatable conversation, because
Yeah.
you'll find I was once on that side, and these days I often make a plug for it. It has its place.
Let's go.
So yeah, that's some of portions. Let's go to the next slide.
Right.
So the Jurassic Potion crisis. Listen, guys, it's a crisis. So environments.
Yeah, man.
So there's an environment, and again, I always like to mention the social constructs that we see this happen a lot, and I like to say to my clients or people who I talk to, I'm saying I'm never here to point fingers. I'm here to encourage us to point fingers at ourselves, and let's look inward and see what we can do. So eating out, we just talk about this in length. Even when eating at home, and we'll go into that, and eating in front of the television, that is an area of serious concern, because what's happening is in every single environment, our awareness is reduced. All right. So these are the typical environments. So you might look at yourself, and when you go out, or you have control. Somebody said to me the other day, they go out every now and then, every other week, and they would have like about 5 beers, and I was saying to them, that's also a problem.
Yeah.
I said, in as much as you don't do it often, right? Because I would say a recommendation is like 1 drink a day, but if you having it at 5 drinks, it's like you go to the doctor, and the doctor said, okay, take this one particular tablet every single day after meals. All right. But you decide, you know what, I'm missing for a couple of days, and I'm gonna take 5 in one single. Do you know how crazy that is?
You wanna make up.
That's significantly dangerous.
Inappropriate amount of portion.
We gotta organize it. So the aim is portions is something that we want to control in the particular moment. So you might find in a week, if you sit down and calculate, you might have about 20 portions or 10 portions of a particular food, but that's okay. But at the end of the day, you're not overdosing nothing in one sitting. All right? Because what we want is long term. All right, go to the next one. And so let's play a little game, perception versus reality. I like
what?
Yeah, let's go on. So let's compare A and B, and maybe the people or the viewers can just jump in and show. My question is, which one is bigger of the shape? So let's do the black one. Which black one is bigger, and which one the yellow is bigger? Y'all can comment. Let's see what you guys think. Which shape is bigger? We're looking at the black dot, eh?
The black dot, right?
The black dot and the yellow one. Which is bigger?
I would say A.
You would say A in the black dot. Okay. All right.
No, in the black dot?
Black.
No, the black dot B, man.
I will say
Yeah.
none.
Okay.
I will say they're the same.
So them look the same.
So she'll say the same
And why
side.
I'm saying that
Hold on,
is-
Hold on. Don't say. If you say
Sorry,
nothing yet,
Carrie.
just choose a side.
I agree, Kerry.
Anybody else get to give it a jump? You have 6 people viewing. If you have the full, you can just run and just tell us which one look bigger to you.
Yeah, just let us know. Give them a moment.
All right, you can decide, guys. Oh boy.
Okay, you want to change your mind?
I don't want to change my mind.
You don't want to change your mind. Okay, awesome.
I mean, when I look at it, I would probably say that B is bigger. I mean, I wouldn't explain why, but when I look at the broader spectrum of it, I will still say they both are
Same
Awesome.
Same size, yeah.
Awesome, and we'll pack out number 2 at the number 2 shape. All right, so guys, I'll come and respond. I'm okay. We'll move on. All right. And so in actuality, 2 they're both the same size.
Same size.
In reality, so they're perceived as looking bigger based on what's around them.
Yes.
So it's just like you're in a plane, and when you're all up the way up above, them houses look like ants, and you can't see people. But at the end of the day, the size of the house hasn't changed.
Yeah, one response.
The B appears bigger. Oh wow. So they're actually the same size. Now I want us to do this for a particular reason, and so if we go to the next slide for a quick second, we'll come again.
Come back here.
Yeah, let's go back to the first slide. Next slide. Same size, same size. That's the answer.
I was correct.
Yes, yay. All right, let's move on again.
Uh,
Let's move on.
so keep going. All right.
All right. And so the portion size illusion. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, that our plates have gotten huger. I have an aunt, Auntie Carolyn, if you're watching. I'm not sure if you're watching, but good night if you're on here. And every time you go to Auntie Carolyn has those nice cups. If you go to, she would give you a cup of juice.
Yeah.
It's about a cup.
A cup.
Right? And I appreciate that because
So it's a cup and it's a cup.
it's about a cup and it's a cup. It's one of the
Right,
few
right,
places
right.
I've seen as actual serving size with a cup or a glass.
Wow.
All right. When you go to some places and you go some other place and you see them, we had to go to the bargain house and those kind of stores. We buy those big plastic cups and we fill them up with juice. And in our mind, we thinking that we having a cup.
Yes,
In
because
act-
it's a cup.
It isn't.
So you're told to drink 2 cups of water in the morning when you wake up first thing. And you go to the kitchen and you have 4 cups of water, thinking you're having 2 cups of
You're
water.
actually having more.
Yes, you are.
So let's look
And I
at
proved
the
that the
plate.
other day.
Yeah.
I was measuring with a cup how much is actually in a teacup, and I got a cup and a half in the teacup.
And that is correct.
Yeah.
So the actual standard teacups that we have is actually a cup and a
Cup
half.
and a half.
So
yeah.
some person might say they're baking for Christmas and they're going to use that to measure the cup of flour. I'm
Yeah.
saying to you, you'll be sadly
So
disappointed.
see that cook
Your
a cup
cake-
of rice.
Your cake will be heavy.
Yeah, you cook a cup of rice and you take a teacup and say it's a cup of
No,
rice.
it isn't. It isn't. And so if we look here, this is one way, and it's a technique that I recommend person to get their portions under control. And so when I go to work, I have a smaller container.
Right.
I have a coworker who just laugh at me. He's like, "Whoa, yo!" He's like, Williams, because I always tell him, "Oh, he's a lot." Right? But he goes to the gym and he does a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
And so he would always comment on my small bowl, and it's so for a reason.
Yeah.
Because when we have a bigger plate, we see a lot of space,
Right.
and we see room for more
More
food.
food, yes.
And what we do, and we have this culture that we feel like we need to have. So if it's on my plate, I'm eating everything.
Everything.
We're not honoring and saying, "Okay, listen, I've had enough.
I'd have
Let's
some
leave the rest for tomorrow." No, we're not eating everything. Just like we buy a packet of biscuit or chips, everything must go. Everything must go. So we're having the whole bag of chips, we're having the whole bag of biscuit, and I mentioned the big box drink, we're having the entire thing.
Yeah, man. Everything
All right,
must go.
everything must go. And so that's one way that we sometimes don't pay attention. And so in doing a bigger plate, what we're realizing that our food can be the same size of a standard serving. So if I put a cup on all of these plates, it'll be a cup standard across,
And
but it's going to look smaller.
Yeah.
And when we
Perception.
do that, that's one way that we can overdo. So for Christmas holiday, one tip to make sure that we control our portion is use a smaller plate, 9 inches. And please, even if you're looking at this nice fancy plate there, the part of the plate that counts is not the nice floral decorative edge. That's not part of the plate. That is decoration. It's
Interesting.
crazy. It's crazy.
Interesting, right? All of they have to get food too. The rice on it, when you measure it and you cut it in 3 because you said, you say cut it in 4. You have a legumes or,
Right.
or beans. We have our meat.
Right?
So we imagine the size of it in that big
Yeah.
plate, and everything must go.
All the flour on the edge too, with food going all
Right
the
in
we
the corner.
we cocking it up and we fitting it on the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is not part of the plate. That's for decoration. And so, tip number 1 to control your portion size for the Christmas holiday and not overdo and feel like you need to pig out is to use a smaller plate.
That's what I
So let's compare the differences. So we see 2 plates here. We see one that's again it's the same size, but we're seeing the difference. Same size plate, but we're seeing what the increase in portion is when we have a bigger plate. So we have this plate is the same size, but to fill it up, we think we need to put more.
True.
All right, and that's how we typically, because we do like to see white space in the plate. The plate don't have food. They have to have food, and we know about culture. Like, come eat, man, eat it. So he's a big man. You just eat. We had this them tanty call them tanty like, come eat a little bit. So come eat.
And grandparents always want to make their
And
children
they always
eat.
like to want to make their children
Yeah,
eat.
you don't eat a lot.
Eat.
Yeah.
And so the trick is to use a smaller plate.
And
That's-
you know, the thing about it, when it is cultured into the minds of a child, in the mind of children or a child from the time they were young. They grew up with that, and they have this bad habit that is now, if you as a parent created it and you didn't know, now you want to change it,
Right.
it becomes even harder to
Correct.
undo what you have done.
Yes.
Which is why I
And
say
if
all the time.
you struggling too
It's a
as a
problem.
parent,
hmm
then you have a problem.
So you have a bad environment,
Big
one,
problem environment. There you
and
go.
then you're now putting forward a learned behavior
Yeah.
to your child, so they're not learning that from you, which is not necessarily a good thing. So whenever I go to monitor school feeding program at the different schools, or I go to daycares and I'm talking to parents at the clinic, I'm saying to parents, raising a child or bringing a child into the world and providing food for them is not an easy task. And we should never just see it as, okay, I'm just providing food, I'm providing a belly full. What you're doing is that you're giving a learned behavior from a very formative age that's going to last them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So the question is, and it's an inward question because we're not pointing fingers tonight. The question is, are you putting forward unhealthy and unhelpful behaviors to your children? And so when they get older, they may struggle with their weight because of something that they learn. So the question is, you may think you're doing your best, but the question is, am I actually doing my best?
Yeah.
And so the culture of saying that we need to eat and stuff people is not a very good culture. All right, and I'm gonna keep saying it. The bellyful culture that we have in the Caribbean has to die. Slavery is over.
It's unhealthy.
It's over.
Yeah, it's unhealthy.
And so no longer do we need to fill up our plate with big amounts of starches. If we can do a smaller plate, right, that's step one to make sure that we monitor our portions.
Yeah,
Alright.
we're encouraging you. We're not encouraging you to not eat enough and be malnourished at the same time.
Nope.
Because we say, oh, use a smaller plate, so you're going to get the smallest plate. And you're
Not a saucer
you
though.
don't
Oh
want to
God,
eat.
overdo.
You don't want to eat because in your mind it's like, well, if I eat in the big plate, I'm alright. That big plate you see in there, if I fold it up, or if I choose the one on my left, the second one be a smaller one, then I might be like the size that I'm eating, right?
Not
But guess
necessarily.
what would happen if you don't eat the appropriate amount that is for your body, and your body you would know when you're okay. And
Yep.
we ain't talking about being gluttonous as we spoke about in the beginning, where you have to reach up here.
Yeah, that's
You
different.
understand? You don't want that. You want to eat to the point where you are satisfied, and satisfied could be modified.
Correct.
Because if you're accustomed to eating a lot and you have to change your habit, you have to expect your body to fight against you
Correct.
until your body then respect the decision you're making.
Yep.
So when you make that decision, it may take a little while for the habit to be created, but you come from a place where you're accustomed eating up here. So naturally you want to eat to reach up here, right? And if somebody not accustomed doing that,
It's gonna be
think
harder.
about how hard it will be
And it's
both
gonna
ways.
take time.
And it's going to take time.
gonna
Both
take
ways,
time.
Both ways,
Yeah.
on and off.
Yep.
Right? So you need to find the place where that is just right. And stay there. Stay there.
Yep.
Be conscious when the day comes as to how you eat. You don't just because you're hungry you're eating food.
And what you eat.
Yeah, and what you eat.
And which is why I say, as a
Yeah.
tip for the Christmas holiday, let's not wait until we hungry.
Well, with them, I share a joke with you. My wife be on.
No, Lord.
So, my wife come to the office the other day and it was about after 10 in the morning. I don't normally have a big breakfast like most people. So, I was like, boy, I'm hungry, but I'm going to eat. And she looked at me and she was like, what's the time now? So, my sister and I start laughing because when we hungry, it could be 8 o'clock. Well, not 8 o'clock. But when we hungry in the morning, once it is, I'm hungry, my body say,
You're
I
hungry.
need food.
You eat.
I eat. And surprisingly, I would eat then. And I will go a good time there after that.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what work for me. I understand my body.
Yes.
So it's not, I think it's strange. 10:30 you pass by me and you see I eating my lunch. My body want food. I give my body food. I just stay in there and wait until 1 o'clock because that's the time. What is happening when I'm waiting? You want to tell me? Why is I waiting on the time
Yeah,
that
because while you're waiting, it's going to have a feedback. So your body's saying you're hungry, and your body's going to intensify that signal until it gets something to eat.
and then you want to eat a lot too
And-
because you're saying I'm real hungry.
You're ravenous.
Yeah.
All right.
I dying now. I want that food. You know, that's it. I dying of hunger. People say those things, and then they go and eat to
Everything
feel
inside. so they
anything
want to
inside
fill
to
up.
feel that because they don't want to
Yeah.
dead. They don't want to die.
That's it.
You know, so
Let's go to the next one.
amazing.
All right, and these are some popular things, and so again, we do look at these things, but the portions have changed over time.
Yeah.
We have seen that a lot of our food, even the fast food we eat, they have gotten a lot bigger. Burgers have gotten bigger, sodas have increasingly gotten bigger, come to what they originally were. All right, and it's an area of concern. And so let's just look at the different. I wish I could have zoomed in to see this one, but we see the difference in terms of plate across the European versus the American plate. And we see the difference. So this one says
in American restaurants,
in American homes.
And in
So
American
this
homes.
automatically just tell you if you're cooking at home versus to watch it by you might possibly get it more. That may not be our case here because we think food are little expensive. But again, what's the difference in the plate size? All right, let's go to the next one. And of course, this is just to show again the consistent over the 20 years. We tend to be unaware of this, not realizing that a lot of these things have gotten bigger and portions have gotten bigger, and we now wrap them around food and culture, and we just go with the flow.
Wow!
And
So it moved from 3.9 ounces in the 1950s.
Yep.
And now it's 12. That's more than double.
Yep, that's a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot. And so if we're looking at chronic disease and we're looking at things, we must realize that where is it originating from? Because all of these slight, subtle changes are happening below our level of awareness, and we're just going along with it.
We go along with it. We go by it, and we just have it all. Yeah.
All right, next one. Let's go. And so again, just another example. Portion sizes is then and now. So some practical things that we can go and we always think that the bigger is better.
True.
And they sell us this thing that bigger is
your
better.
money is what?
That's it.
You get your money's worth.
You get your money's worth.
Yeah.
And so if you mind getting your money's worth and bringing some home and having it next day or whatever, depending on what it is, I ain't gonna say have fast food every day.
Yeah.
But it's something to pay attention to. All right.
Or if you go in the restaurant and you buy stuff, they always
You
have
can
takeaway
share it.
boxes. But they have takeaway boxes, so if you want to carry some home for the next day when you know you reach your body say, hey, this is your limit. Respect it.
Yep.
Don't push it, because when you disrespect your body gonna respond too. You respond. And they're gonna tell you what's going on. And if you keep disrespecting your body, eventually your body will die.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so what are we not? So we're seeing that the portion sizes have increased, but what are the subtle things that we're not seeing? And which is where we get concerned. We see a lot of sodium.
Yeah.
And saturated fat. So the first two things, high blood pressure. Silent killer and high, your risk for high blood pressure now goes up because you're taking a lot of sodium, and sodium may not necessarily taste salty. All right, so you're having fries and we're eating fries normal. You know, you may not taste a whole lot of salt in it, but there's a lot of salt. And in terms of sodium, so I was saying to somebody the other day, in one KFC chicken breast or chicken thigh, you can have almost. I don't want to get it, but I don't get this wrong. You can have more than half of your day's worth of sodium in one single piece. Day's worth of sodium.
But I again, I don't eat that. I taste it with intention at time, and I marveled what I tasted.
Right.
Because then I'm like, stay away from it. I always tell people that, stay away from it for a little while. Go back and eat it.
Right.
And one might say, well, I don't suffer with hypertension, so what's the big deal? Okay, what's the big deal? Use the nutritionist. Tell us what's the big deal. You don't suffer with it. No, keep it in it all the time.
And is it continuous and habitual thing, right? And again, the saturated fat, guys, because we're frying a lot of things and we're using a lot of shortening to do everything. Unfortunately, that's what they use to fry.
Why do they say it's saturated? Let's talk about that a little bit.
All right, so saturated fats are fats that are solid at room temperature. So what are some examples of things that are solid at room temperature? Lard. Cooking. And Christmas season, guys. So here's what. Please do not use cooking in your bread for the holidays. I don't encourage it.
What is it?
The cooking? The
Cooking?
shortening, yeah.
Oh, cooking.
Shortening.
Right.
And those margarines that we can go on the shelf and just pick up, and they had this strong. So my aunt went to one of those supermarkets. I never told you all this last time. And she bought a thing of margarine. and I had it on the table for more than listen, it's still in my fridge, yeah? And I say I need to walk it to my clinics. That's why I have it. Because I threw it away a long time. And I was on my table and it was standing up strong and sturdy.
Yeah.
It's in the fridge now and it's hard like a brick.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen normally. So usually that's like a literal bottle of oil that they've chemically converted into a solid something. And it affects the body differently. So that messes your cholesterol up and increases your risk for things like clogging of your arteries and stroke and heart attacks.
So basically you consume it when it's melted, it goes in and it solidifies itself again.
Not necessarily solidify itself, just the action of the trans fats.
Yeah.
It's gonna digest normally, but your body's recognizing it differently. And your body's handling it differently.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
That's the challenge. Because now your low density lipoproteins, which are the bad cholesterol, they're gonna pick that up and they're going to indiscriminately go and they're gonna just drop it in your tissue.
Oh.
And what it does, if there's a tear, it's gonna just fill up that tear and your body's gonna heal over it and you're gonna have like a space and it's gonna reduce the size of your vessel. So if your vessel is here, it's gonna get smaller.
Oh.
Blood pressure goes up because you have a wide distribution of smalling of vessels around the body. Okay, in addition to the amount of sodium.
Right.
Simple carbohydrates is another problem. So everything is highly processed. So fries is processed. White bread is highly processed. And so we see in the burger, if all of these things have gone up, it means that our portions are getting bigger and we're taking more servings in.
Yeah.
More servings in means we're not doing as much work as we were doing before. That's not helpful. So again, your risk for things like diabetes and becoming overweight becomes a problem, which is why obesity is now a big problem. We're now physically inactive and we're taking in a lot.
And say replace the word gluten with overweight. No, not they. That's.
Somebody said that.
No, yeah. Someone said that. Except as I said, always, if there is a issue that someone may have, because everybody. They are not obese because you understand?
Correct.
And obesity, someone could be looking like Akim and it could be obese and it could be obese.
Correct.
I was looking like Sabi and I'm currently obese. Obese now, I'm overweight. Yeah, and you may say to me, no. Well, according to the BMI, BMI, it says that I am.
And in itself, isn't it?
Just a little bit overweight.
A little bit overweight.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not overly. If I'm overly, then I move from overweight to obesity.
Right.
Yeah, and that could be dangerous. So, again, everybody is different, and you need to check yourself to know what's happening with your body. Don't look at people and say, well, if Sabi is, but what's my height? What's my weight? What's my height? What's my age? All of those things. So you just pays to know.
And when we talk about obesity, it's more than that. It's fat, internal fat,
yeah.
and not weight.
Yeah.
Because weight is water and muscle and everything.
And that's the next thing. And if you stop eating and drinking plenty water, or if you start drinking plenty water and you stop eating a certain way, you would realize. But again, we talk about that over the last couple of months.
Yes, we did.
Over the last week, me and Kerry had a lot of conversation about that. So, again, it's quite a bit to learn,
All right, let's go with the next one.
Next slide.
So there's a domino effect, and we're gonna just zero in on this here today.
Right.
Increased sodium, hypertension. That's one. So we see where you're going. So increased sodium in the diet, your risk of hypertension goes up.
Okay.
Because they fry a lot of those foods, and a lot of those foods are fried in shortening. Sometimes a solid fat. You find your risk of clogging of your arteries goes up. Then you go to heart disease and potentially stroke. Domino effect. Next one.
Okay.
Increased saturated fats, hypertension, again, same thing. I put this because I was men. Because the only time I think men tend to get concerned when it comes to health is when I talk about erectile dysfunction. I don't understand once you go there. But I say to the person, whenever you get erectile dysfunction, that's like the fire. The smoke is the atherosclerosis and the clogging of your arteries.
Yeah.
All right? And then stroke, heart disease with the high saturated fats.
Wow. And
trans fats. Simple carbohydrates, diabetes, and complications, obesity. Hypertension again, cardiovascular. Once you get to obesity and diabetes,
they had to go pay for
my
it.
professor says they come with excess baggage. Dr. Mitchell, she always says excess baggage all the time. So once you get it, just trust and believe it. They come in with their family members. Everybody come in.
They like so there's like when they say them demons that roll in pack. You find fear. You find maybe unforgiveness. You find something else attached with it.
Right. Yeah. They're not coming alone. They're bringing people with them. All right, let's go on. So what can we do to prevent it? We can make an about U-turn.
A U-turn.
Make a complete U-turn.
U-turn, yeah.
So, tips for the holiday, guys, and please, you can share this with your family members. Don't go and sound like a crazy person and say, you know what, let's not wait for the New Year's. Let's start now. No New Year's resolution. Behavior change starts today and tomorrow, and you'll always hear me advocate for that. So, at home, get smaller plates. It's a tip we can do.
Right.
We can bring and eat and end to eating in front of the television. That's not a good habit, please. That's why we have dining tables in our rooms to have family time where we can enjoy our meals and you know, be aware of what we're eating. Let's share more when we eat out, so that we don't find that we need to eat, or we don't have to eat everything. We can share it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And let's use our smart device to become more food smart. I always say, we have smartphones, we have things. Listen, you have real recipes online, so people don't.
And 2 months ago, in the supermarket, everything I want to buy, I literally Google a lot of things I want to buy to check out stuff in it before I buy it.
Yep.
You know, what amount of potassium in this? What amount of sodium in this? What does that mean? And I raise it up, read it. I was looking for a dressing and I couldn't find none because all of them had a lot of sodium in it.
Right.
Like a lot of sodium. No, I mean, even looking for serving, I looking at the amount that they in it.
Right.
You understand? Because then if you have so much in it and I have to take the serving, it's going to be not enough to actually, like, think about it. How can you put it on your salad?
Right.
And your salad might be, well, you know, is a lot. Maybe a couple of leaves of lettuce and some cucumbers and so on, peppers and so on there. I just want to put a little thing. If you put it in one spot, you would not be able to cover the whole thing, so you won't get a taste. So what's the sense you put it on it?
They make no sense.
So I just like, you know what? Let me just leave that alone, man.
And you can make your own though.
Well, I ain't learned down yet. You talk to me about that, brother.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
All right, carry on to sleep.
And so
time, that's all.
I know. This is our last program
we
for the
skip
year
it.
until next year. By the way,
so just an
yeah?
encouragement for the year. I shall not die, but live to declare the works of the Lord.
Yeah.
The Lord has chastened me sore, but has not given me over to death. And so there's an opportunity for us to live for the new year and not die.
Yeah.
And do it so in a way that we will, you know,
Thanks,
declare the goodness of the Lord in our lives to our neighbors, and we can use it in our quest to spread the gospel. All right?
Wonderful.
Blessings.
So, portions of it. Now you know.
Portions.
If you didn't know, now you know what portion of it that you should be eating, of whatever it is you're having during this holiday season. It's important that you make good choices. You make responsible choices. You don't just eat like a cow. Well, I can say a pig. You're pigging out.
Pigging out.
Yeah, I can say don't beat it. Whatever we say in terms of whether you beat it or pig it, just make sure you know the portions of it that you should have, and take care of yourself. You know. So hats off to you, to a better you in 2023.
Yeah.
That's around the corner. Kerry, we have successfully ended. This is our last program for 2022. So guys, we'll be taking a break on the Hope Drive, and we'll probably resume around the second week thereabout, or maybe the third week even in January.
Let's see what the Lord says.
Yes. We will decide based on how things go, because we also want to try to do some expansion. I want to say thank you to everyone that supported our ministry this year, 2022. Thank you to Akim and to Kerry for coming and making this session, you know, even since Akim was in Trinidad. Like, God knew he had to be back here. So thank you, Akim. All the other folks here at Hope 103.1 FM, the family that does the program during the week. It has been a joy serving with these soldiers for 2022. Next year, we're definitely looking at expanding our aerial reach, or geographical reach. All right, so we want to give thanks to the Almighty God for what He has done and what He's doing. So I'll be putting some energy into that come January.
Yes.
All right, so guys, once it's done, we'll let you guys know. We'll let you all know. And as you drive through Grenada, Carriacou, and even Petit Magnet, we're
Yep.
hoping to reach up there too.
Amen.
You'll be able to tune in and pick up Hope 103.1 FM loud and clear on your dial, on your frequency, on your radio, in your vehicles. Right?
Yeah.
For now, it's only so far we can go, but you know, as I always say to the friends and family, when I am not hearing, I'm imagining hearing. That's the hope I have. That one day I would not say, "Oh, this thing in picking up here, but I'm losing it here." I'll be like, "Yeah, I can hear now. This is what I was imagining all the time." So that's my hope. Any final words, Carrie girl?
You know, I just want to say 2022, I really give God thanks for the opportunity to be here, to be hosting and sharing with Sabi. The experience has been one of a lifetime. I can truly say that, you know, when we come on here and we speak and we pray and we listen to the songs, like as Sabi would normally say, we get the testing too.
Yeah.
And I can see, you know, the areas of growth and, you know, just being here discussing, hearing your point of view and so on. And so I'd just like to say a special thank you for everyone who would have been a part of our program, you know, our regulars. Thank you so much for coming on and commenting. And so on. Like, you guys have really helped us, you know, put the program together and so on. Even Akim, we had Cora, we had Cassie, we had your friend, the cricketer.
Yeah,
Andre,
Yeah.
and so on. And we just want to say a special thank you. And we look forward to 2023, bigger and better. And so enjoy Christmas.
Yeah, and I just cannot miss out my beautiful people. You know, my aunties and my cousins and
Big up aunties.
you know,
cousins.
my aunties, boy, yeah, Auntie Sylvina, my cousin, Sister Dolores, you know.
Hey, big up,
Good
big up,
night
big up.
to Meshach, my brother, you know, Meshach, my brother, right?
Nautica,
Natalie,
Natalie.
who else? So many other folks who came on and made these programs what they were, because they were able to share their view.
Yep.
You know, that's the thing I love about the program. They not share much tonight because I guess it's a time for them to understand the portions of it. But you know, must give God thanks and praise for every person that has supported the ministry. Without you, what we have been able to accomplish, it would have never happened. I remember at the end of 2021, our subscribers on YouTube, I think it was maybe around 300 thereabout. I think for this year it has doubled, so we are there about 612 subscribers now. We give thanks for every person who has subscribed. Also, I remember our Facebook was around 1,200 persons following. Now we are about 1,800, about close to 1,900 persons following. So on the social media part of things, people are gravitating to what we are doing, and we give God thanks for that. If you have a radio station and you're broadcasting and there is nobody listening, you're just having conversation within yourself, and it makes no sense. So you, the listeners, are the one who are helping us to make this happen, and we are really grateful for you even taking a moment of your time to just listen. You know, I'm sure some of you guys would have learned something, so many things. Many persons' lives has been challenged. Some people's life has been changed based on what I know, I would say, during this year of ministry here at Hope FM. Myself, I was really challenged. A lot of programs, challenge me. But I go through things and being able to sit and share it sometimes because how God showed me, hey, this is what my word, this is why I'm speaking to you from my word. So sometimes I share it in the matter of a conversation with people.
Right.
Or people may think, oh, you're just coming up with stuff, but this thing is so active, it's not even funny. It's like you're in it and things happening That is how God leads you sometimes. You know, and even listening to my brother and my sister, Trevor and Adonna, in the morning with the morning devotions. When I listen to some of the things, even there, I receive my encouragement. Sometimes I receive a word of rebuke sometimes, because you don't always have it right. Who does? Everybody, you know, at times you may have it wrong in your mind. You may have things a particular way. Sometimes talking to some of our team members, they might say, well, this is what I find. And you learn things. So we are all here, iron sharpening iron.
Yep.
You know, we are getting stronger and growing together. So 2023 is going to be an excellent year, because we would want to connect with the listeners now a little more, not only in here, but outdoor. But I can't go into too much details. So just imagine you have an opportunity to meet Hakim outdoor, and you come in and get your nutrition tips and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's a little bit there. But it has been a wonderful year, and I give God thanks and all the praise.
All the glory.
My last program that I did last Saturday, I was talking about boasting in the Lord, and I boast not in myself, but in the Lord. I know the rest of the team agree with me, because my partner and I was having a conversation about the same thing, and he was saying to me, but we can't boast about nothing. It is the Lord's work, and it's nothing but marvelous in His sight. So we give Him all the thanks and we give Him all the praise. So guys, have a blessed night.
All right.
We know we went a little bit longer tonight, but that's okay. Hopefully Kerry don't fall asleep on us. Nonetheless, this one goes down in history.
All right.
So
long.
I give any final words before you go?
All right. This was a pleasure being here, guys. Listen, it's always a pleasure to share. I also supposed to say I had to go to school and pay a lot of money to learn this, and it's a pleasure to give it for free.
Yeah.
It's about serving our people. It's about building God's kingdom, and it's His work. I said the persons, if you know my story, I went to school with $0. Almost got deported the very day I got to Trinidad. I didn't have a return ticket. And when you look at my receipt now, it's over $100,000 has been paid towards my school. I don't know where it came from, but God did it. And so we're giving back to the kingdom of God, because we're making sure that we're getting His work done, and we're supporting all for His honor and all for His glory. All right, guys. So it was a pleasure sharing. So long for now. See you in the upcoming year, guys. Have a wonderful Christmas holiday.
All right. And remember the portions of it. Don't go in too much now.
Yeah. La la dee, la 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 la. It's Christmas time again. Yeah, Jesus, you are the reason for the season. Oh yeah. Jesus, you are the reason why we're living. Oh yeah. But some people corrupt the celebration. Tell them this is not a pagan holiday. So I come with a message for the nation. While we're moving in the season, I want you control it, control yourself, control it, yes, control yourself, neighbor. You can't eat everything, you can't drink everything, you can't buy everything. For the Christmas, please, nothing ain't wrong with feasting, but don't overdo it, don't overdo it. Yes, you're throwing the rum in your black cake. Don't overdo it, don't overdo it in your celebration. Practice moderation. Remember that the reason for the season is not filling up your belly till it ram, Lord. Control it, control yourself, control it.
Oh, control yourself, neighbor. You can't eat everything. You can't drink everything. You can't buy everything for the Christmas slaughter. Nothing ain't wrong with shopping, but don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Yes. Just remember January morning, you will be crying. So don't overdo it in your celebration. Practice moderation. Yes. Let me tell you, baby, take it easy. Don't go shopping until your pocket empty. Just control it and control yourself. Control it, oh, control yourself, neighbor. You can't eat everything. You can't drink everything. You can't buy everything. For this Christmas, please control it, oh, control yourself. Control it and control yourself, neighbor. You can't eat everything. You can't buy everything. You can't drink everything. Oh yeah. Jesus, you are the reason for the season. Oh yeah. Jesus, you are the reason, the real reason. Oh yeah. So neighbor, control it. Control yourself. Control it. Oh, control yourself. Control it. Control yourself. Control it. Yeah. Control yourself.